Good evening. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners Public Hearing, Comprehensive Plan Amendments, Thursday, January 13th, 2022. I want to welcome all of the members of the board and staff to address the Comprehensive Plan Amendments, and this is a public hearing. The Board of County Commissions will consider the adoption of proposed amendments to the future of Hillsborough County's comprehensive plan. And with that, I want to make sure we do a roll call to see those that are currently present.
Chair Overman?
Here.
Cohen?
Here.
Hagan?
Here.
Kemp? Commissioner Kemp? Myers?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
White?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. I'll now recognize the staff of the Planning Commission who will address the first item on our agenda. Did we lose Miss Leanne Hart? I saw her a second ago and then she disappeared. There she is.
I apologize. Sorry about that. Melissa Leinhardt for the record, Planning Commission staff. Tonight, as our first item on the agenda, item A is HCCPA 21-17, Future Land Use Map Amendment, Orsley Drive and Kingsway Road. This item has been requested a continuance by the applicant.
Move to continue the item.
If there's no discussion, we'll take a roll call vote.
Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 6-0.
Excellent. Thank you very
Madam
much.
Chair, who was the second on that motion, please?
Smith?
Thank you.
Commissioner Smith? Okay. Excellent.
And Madam Chair, I neglected to add the date to that. That's March 10th would be the continuance date of this year, 2022.
March 10th of 2022. Excellent. Thank you very
Yes, ma'am.
much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm the applicant. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Madam Chair, thank you. Our other request for this evening was to revise this application from Res 9 to Res 6.
And that's for the continuance. That's for the item that was continued.
Yes, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we are ready for part two. This is a public hearing for a transmittal public hearing for several items. And the Planning Commission, would you like to introduce these items? The first one is HCCPA 2116, the Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment for the Mobility Section Update.
Yes, ma'am. Presenting that item tonight would be Ms. Katrina Corcoran.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Katrina Corcoran. I will be sharing my screen for this presentation. One moment while I get that up. So you should be seeing a full screen presentation here. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Katrina Corcoran, Planning Commission staff. This is the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan, HCCPA 2116, Mobility Section Text Amendment. My co-lead, Rich Clarendon, is also on the call this evening. So some background in the mobility section. It is currently the adopted transportation element. It is part of the Community and Built Environment chapter of the Comprehensive Plan. We've had extensive dialogue and discussion with working group members, including staff from Plan Hillsborough, Hillsborough County, including Public Works and Community and Infrastructure Planning, ART, and other staff based on topic area. There have been a number of revisions since the September BOCC briefing that includes new language on tolling, utilities and maintenance, evacuation and sheltering during emergencies, connectivity, this is a new goal with new associated language, development impacts in the multimodal transportation network, transportation demand management or TDM strategies for employers. We've also had a number of clarifying language edits as well as minor wordsmithing and renumbering based on the new language. This amendment updates and replaces the existing transportation element, adds new definitions, and modifies transportation-related policy and tables in the capital improvements element. It also deletes duplicative language in the future land use and economically disadvantaged groups elements. We have 7 main goals, which I'll be going over in more detail in the next few slides. We also have an implementation and monitoring section, which will be added to the mobility section. It will be a non-adopted reference page to more implementation-focused documents that the county produces. And finally, we have an assessment of conditions, which is a mapping inventory. 3 of these 16 maps are proposed to be adopted. That includes the Corridor Preservation Plan map, the Transit Right-of-Way Preservation Corridors map, and the Context Classification map. The rest of the maps are not proposed to be adopted. Our first goal is to achieve equitable outcomes, and it reads to build a transportation system that supports the needs of all users with respect to ability, resources, identity, and mode preference. The objectives, the objectives here include engaging the public, considering both positive and negative impacts of transportation projects, and recognizing and avoiding repeating past injustices. Our second goal is to achieve Vision Zero by providing a multimodal transportation system that prioritizes the safety of all roadway users. Our objectives here include using an integrated safe systems approach, protecting vulnerable users, equitable education and fair enforcement of traffic laws, and improving high injury corridors. Our third goal is to maintain the system in good repair, preserve assets, and improve resiliency to climate change. Our objectives include maintaining existing transportation infrastructure while repairing or replacing deficient facilities, supporting the maintenance of public transportation assets, and maintaining or improving the capability of the system to evacuate vulnerable populations. Our fourth goal is to promote connectivity, and it reads to provide safe and convenient connections within the transportation network that support multimodal access to key destinations, such as community focal points, employment centers, and services throughout the county. The objectives here include designing communities around a grid network, improving interconnections, and updating the corridor preservation plan and ensuring adequate multimodal corridors. Our fifth goal is to provide choices when not driving, and it reads to create a sustainable transportation system that allows people to take their mode of choice to access necessities, opportunities, recreation, and each other. We have several objectives here, including balancing vehicular capacity, establishing multimodal level of service standards, development mitigating its impact on the multimodal network, supporting and collaborating with HART, and building a comprehensive and bicycle and pedestrian system. Our sixth goal is to build a smart system that utilizes technology and strategies to improve safety, efficiency, and reliability for all modes of transportation and to meet the needs of all users. Our objectives here include addressing deficient roadways, modernizing the county's traffic management center, using transportation demand management strategies, implementing parking for bicycles, shared vehicles, and curb space management, pursuing corridor widening, improving multimodal connections, and monitoring and supporting emerging technologies. Our seventh goal is to ensure compatibility with context. It reads to provide a multimodal transportation system that supports planned future land use, respects historical and cultural assets, supports the identity of the surrounding community, and protects the natural environment. Our objectives here include designing roadways appropriate to the future land use category that they traverse, and that is notably connected to the context classification definitions and map, minimizing adverse impacts to neighborhoods and environmentally sensitive land, protecting neighborhoods from adverse impacts of traffic and speeds while providing reasonable access, and finally, constructing complete streets. This map is the context classification map that I mentioned in the previous goal. and that is included in your packet. The implementation and monitoring portion will be added as guidance documents and standards are available. That includes documents such as the Complete Streets Guidebook, the Transportation Design Manual, the Transportation Technical Manual, and the Corridor Preservation Plan. Commissioners, we had extensive stakeholder and public engagement. In mid-August, we had newsletter articles, social media outreach, a project page, and a publication of our initial draft. Public comment was available online starting in August through mid-October, and we did receive about 13 public comments via that form. We held 2 virtual public meetings, one on September 9th and another on September 23rd, and presentations were given to a number of interested stakeholder groups starting in August through October. That includes the Hillsborough County Citizens Advisory Committee, numerous transportation planning organization committees, the HART Joint Planning and External Relations, Operations and Safety, and Finance and Audit Committee, and the Hillsborough County Agricultural Economic Development Council. The final version of this section reflects outreach as well as input from the Planning Commission and the BOCC. As I mentioned previously, we did receive 13 public comments via our online form. This slide presents a summary of those public comments. They generally included some support for multimodal transportation, including active transportation and transit, last mile transportation, connectivity, and sidewalk repair and installation. There were comments on public engagement, including better engagement with transportation users, greater representation to actual community representatives as opposed to outside or special interests, as well as general concerns around reducing congestion, unsafe roads, more frequent resurfacing, poorly managed traffic lights, overbuilding and uncontrolled developments being only accessible via one road, and reliable and sustainable funding. We received no objections from reviewing agencies. We did receive comments from Hillsborough County Public Schools, and the Center for Urban Transportation Research, or CUTR. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office responded with no comments. The next steps, should this be transmitted, in January through February, we'll have a formal state and regional agency review and comment. On March 10th, we will have the BOCC adoption public hearing. Staff found the mobility section consistent with numerous policies, objectives, and goals of the transportation element and the future land use element. The transportation element goal 1 and future land use element goal are shown here to represent that consistency. The Planning Commission did find the mobility section consistent, and we recommend that the BOCC find HCCPA 2116 consistent with the future of Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan for unincorporated Hillsborough County and transmit to DEO for state and regional review. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions along with my co-lead, Rich Clarendon. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for that presentation. I appreciate it. This is a public hearing, and we have 3 minutes set aside for each speaker that is signed up for each of the items. Currently, I have one person that is signed up in opposition of CPA 21. I'm sorry. I have 3 people actually signed up, but I don't know that I have anyone signed up for this particular item 2116. Is there no one that's here to speak on this issue? Seeing
No,
none.
Madam Chair, no one signed up for 2116.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Seeing that, I'd open up for board discussion and consider a motion or a vote. I have Commissioner White has requested to speak. Commissioner White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know that I definitely have some allies on this board when it comes to tying land use and transportation together, and also placemaking. That's something we've talked a lot about. In fact, leading up to the pandemic, I had spent some time working on a proposal for an overlay district for Eastern Hillsborough County. That's been at least temporarily shelved during the pandemic. I don't know whether or not I'll ever get to bring it forward because the clock may run out on me. But Mr. Gormley, I just want to thank you and your staff for all of your help on that, regardless of whether or not we get it across the finish line. But staff knows that I'm very interested in tying land use and transportation together and placemaking. And Development Services staff has assisted me with the proposal that I'd like to bring forward this evening. And Mr. Gormley, I want to thank your staff for that as well. So I'm going to make a motion in just a moment, but staff has suggested that this is best tied to Objective 7.4, which says to construct complete streets to achieve safety, comfort, and aesthetics for appropriate users and modes. So with that being said, I'd like to move to amend this element before we transmit it so that it goes to the state with this amendment. So my motion would be to amend the mobility element, adding a new policy under Objective 7.4 that would read, where applicable, the county will implement standards like building placements, building volumes, and architectural features using context-based classification to link mobility and land use plan. And that motion was vetted by staff, and they assisted me with preparing it.
A second?
Me. We have a motion by Commissioner White. I think I heard a second by Commissioner Kemp. Is that accurate?
And I
Okay.
think that Commissioner Myers did
And
as
Myers
well.
as well? Okay. Could you repeat that one more time? Because I want to make sure I completely understand. It was a lot of amendments right there.
It is. It's definitely professionally prepared, and I appreciate the credentialed professionals that we have on our staff. It would be an amendment to the mobility element, adding a new policy under Objective 7.4 that would read, where applicable, the county will implement standards like building placements, building volumes, and architectural features using context-based classification to link mobility and land use plan.
Thank you. Now I'm completely able to hear exactly what you were describing, and it sounds like a very good idea. With that, do I have any other commenters? I see that Commissioner Smith is in the queue. Are you speaking to the motion?
One question to the motion, and just save my place in the queue for later. So 7.4, I see where you're at. 7.4.1, this is on page 34, says to implement complete streets typologies based on the context-based classification plan. And the rest of it is, kind of design features of the roadways. There is something about including art and historical markers, but I see, if I, just trying to get a sense of what you're doing, you're adding building streetscape aside from the streets themselves in the kinds of buildings that come along, the design standards of the stuff that's built, the built landscape.
If I may, Madam Chair?
Sure, please.
Yes, in fact, streetscape is a term that I use a lot when I'm speaking to staff. So yes, it does get into the streetscape element of placemaking in this particular case. So yes.
And if I may follow up, do we have, is there, I like the idea, great, I support it. In addition, or is this included, trees, did you say? Street trees, or is this just about the buildings?
I didn't mention trees, but I'm happy to restate the motion and include that in there if,
Yeah.
because
I'm just thinking,
I'm certainly all
I'm
about
kinda-
that.
Right, yeah. So I don't know if this is the good place for it, and, but it's just suggestion, and I'd certainly support it if that's
Sure.
where you want to go.
So would you like to finish addressing the motion in terms of any comments to finally make a amended motion or
Well-
to revise your motion or restate your motion?
Yeah, if it's.
Because I think we've got others in the queue that may want to comment on what you've said. So if you're willing to make an adjustment to the motion, or?
Sure. I think I'm prepared to do that on the fly. So if it's okay, I'll withdraw my motion and then restate it with what Commissioner
what's being
Smith
mentioned.
has
Okay.
suggested.
Because there were several people in the queue as you began, so I'm trying to make sure that if it has to do with this particular motion, I want to address those comments
Sure.
appropriately.
So let me restate it, and Commissioner Smith, if it's okay with you, I'm going to say landscaping, so it would address, anything beyond trees. So in that case, I would say I move to amend the mobility element, adding a new policy under Objective 7.4 that would read, where applicable, the county will implement standards like building placements, building volumes, architectural features, and landscaping features using context-based classification to link mobility and land use plan.
I like that. I like that. And with that, we had a second. So assuming the second stands, are there, I see that Smith, Commissioner Smith, you were in it, but those are on a different issue. Commissioner Kemp, you were in the queue. Is that related to the motion?
Yes.
you're
Well, two
recognized.
things. One, I was just going to make a point of order and just recognize that I was here. Came in a minute late I missed a roll call. And then secondly, I just want to say I think this is really excellent. I have, and so I hope that we get to workshop an overlay or something like that, because I've talked about that since I came on, and you probably talked about it before I was here, but I've often thought that all these places need kind of an overlay, central downtown, or whatever you want to call it, town center, for so many places, and it basically has to be retrofitted in that we really don't, outside of the city of Tampa, it's only been done, to my knowledge, in Plant City organically and by natural growth. So it's as if we have to retrofit it. And I'd be very interested in seeing that move forward, because I think it's just really important about how. And so this takes about how we do that. This takes starts down that road, so to speak, and by looking at the road and the context and the built or landscape environment around it. But I'm really interested further in hopefully getting to that sometime soon. And if not, I'd like to do it while you're here. So that would be, I just want to encourage that.
Okay, and I actually wanted to ask you, because I've been actually inquiring a similar thing. I know that, we have great plans. We've done a lot of work in the comprehensive area. But when it comes to mobility, I have discovered that there is a nexus between our street design, building design, as well as how we address the way people get around in those communities in a context method. There are some areas that height might be more important or allowable because of the context of the community of which it lies. But what I haven't heard in your suggestion regarding the objective that construct complete streets to achieve safety, comfort, and aesthetics appropriate for users and modes is potentially the issue associated with transit. And the reason I mentioned that is because I've been working with various different folks in the planning world that have said, one size doesn't fit all. Certain areas that do need an overlay, as you have described, have difficulty doing it because in the process there's not been a sensitivity to those that live in that community that need transit or would like transit, and whether that be cycles or scooters or or a bus or a rail or any of the above. So there's mention earlier in the policy section that talks about transportation, but in this particular case, I wouldn't want that excluded unless there's another way to include it somewhere else within this policy. But I really like the idea. I really like the motion. So if you're willing to consider adding something along those lines as some of the elements that could be under consideration in the overlay, and how it plays a part in the context of that overlay, I really would like to support this item. So not seeing anyone else that's speaking to this particular motion, would you like to restate it one more time?
Absolutely. It would be a motion to amend the mobility element, adding a new policy under Objective 7.4 that would read, where applicable, the county will implement standards like building placements, building volumes, architectural features, and landscaping features using context-based classification to link mobility and land use plan.
Okay, and we have a second by Commissioner Kemp and Commissioner Myers as well, I believe. And with that, we'll take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Commissioner Smith, did you have an additional item that you wanted to bring up?
Yes, separate from that.
Separate from that. You were recognized?
Thank you. Thank you. So I had a couple of things I wanted to address, starting with Objective 3.2, which is on page 6. It starts on page 16 of the backup, and that's a new objective. And I talked about this at the workshop, and I thought we had reached consensus on my suggestion there. But it hasn't been changed. So I'm going to suggest the same change I suggested at the workshop and see where it goes. The objective reads, to support the maintenance of public transportation assets, recognizing that the Hillsborough Area Regional Transit Authority, HART, is financially responsible for maintaining the transit system. So this isn't true. I'd like to strike the part about recognizing that HART is financially responsible for maintaining the transit system. It sounds like it makes it sound like they're solely responsible, and that's not true currently. For example, neither the streetcar nor the ferry are fully funded by HART. Also, we are using grant funding from state and federal partners to fund transit projects. And we have put county funds into various small HART projects every year, whether a paratransit vans or ADA improvements to bus stops. Further, this is not appropriate to be in our comprehensive plan to pick out this one piece of infrastructure and say in our comp plan who's funding it. We don't indicate funding sources for other infrastructure in our comprehensive plan. Water infrastructure, for example, is paid partly by Tampa Bay Water, partly by the county, and that's done according to and governed by various interlocal agreements. So similarly, who pays for transit is governed by other agreements and interlocal agreements and grant funding agreements. It's not spelled out, it shouldn't be spelled out in our comprehensive plan. This is a brand new objective. I don't know where it came from, but I would like to strike, I'm going to make a motion that we say at Objective 3.2, support the maintenance of public transportation assets, period.
Second.
and scratch the rest of it about recognizing that Hart is financially responsible for maintaining the transit system. And I'll point out that striking this bit doesn't commit us to a position that Hart is not fully responsible. It just lets our comprehensive plan remain silent on that point, as it has always been, and as it should be, as I said. So that's my motion. I've got a second over there.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Smith, a seconded by Commissioner Kemp. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, you do a roll call vote, please.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Excellent. Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized. You're next in the queue.
I don't believe I removed my name before.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay, are there any other comments or changes? Okay, Commissioner Smith, you're recognized.
Yeah, thanks. I just have a couple more comments. So the corridor preservation plan is a map that is on page 37, and it still includes the East-West Expressway that is it's a blue line between 275 and 75, way up towards the north of the county. And there was a lot of objection to that. That's no longer in our long-range transportation plan. We removed it for all the same reasons. We removed the ill-fated green swath of death, AAK, the Eastern Expressway, and we removed it for similar objections as to that this county board objected to MCORS. It's one of those roads to nowhere, and that would just open up the rural area for sprawl. So I think that needs to come off this map. It's, as I say, it's not in our long-range transportation plan. There's no reason to be preserving right-of-way for it. I know staff has told me when I've asked them about this that we will be revising the whole map sometime soon, but there's no point in transmitting a map with something, a corridor preservation for the East-West Expressway. So I move that we remove that from the map before we transmit it.
So you have a motion
Second.
to move it, the second by Commissioner Kemp. Can I ask staff if that would be easily done, given how these maps are put together? I can't imagine they're not. And a question regarding the corridor preservation plan. Does corridor preservation, roads that are identified for corridor preservation, are they required to be on our long-range transportation plan? Are they part, as in generally a core piece of our long-range transportation plan? Are they required to be on there?
Commissioner, when the corridor preservation map was adopted, it started with the long-range transportation plan and included other roads that were considered in a longer planning horizon than the LRTP had. So it contains roads that are both on the LRTP and some that are not.
Okay, so it's not required to be there. It can be there, but it isn't necessary that it's there based on what Commissioner Smith's motion suggests? It's not, being in the LRTP is not a prerequisite?
Prerequisite. There are roads included on there that go beyond the LRTP.
Okay. All right, thank you. Are there any other comments regarding the motion? Hearing none, please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. And, I would like to say that there has been, I would like to say there has been a lot of really, really good work put into this whole thing and this element, and that staff has been very responsive to some of our comments in the workshop as well. With connectivity, I'm especially happy about some things that were put in there and then refined according to our comments at the workshop. This is really progress in the direction that this board wants to go. And they elevated connectivity to a goal like we asked for in the workshop. Vision Zero, building a smart system, maintaining the system in good repair is really, really well thought out. The last thing I'll talk about is the matter of toll roads and equity. I was thinking that tolling, managed lanes by tolling could be addressed as an equity issue here, and had suggested that, and staff has gone some way towards that. I don't think we're there yet. Toll roads and Lexus lanes are inherently inequitable. They keep poor people who can't afford to pay the toll out of the way so that rich people can go faster, people who can afford to pay the tolls. And so what we have is policy 1.2.4 on page 12. And so there's two policies. I think 1.2.5 is excellent and should, well, no, I'm sorry, that's not the one I thought was excellent, but 1.2.4 I think is still not there. To consider the effect of tolls and managed lanes on low-income households and ensure that there are alternative facilities for those who aren't able to pay the toll, or that they have other ways to access such facilities. I mean, there will always be alternative facilities. Say if you have Lexus lanes, managed lanes by tolling, there will always be alternative facilities, but they'll be slower. There'll be a lower level of service for the lower income people than you are providing for the higher income people. There'll be alternative facilities. But, and people who can't afford to pay the tolls can drive in the free lanes, i.e. the slow lanes, while the rich people zoom past in the Lexus lanes. So that's inequitable to me. We're not there yet. I'm not gonna, hold up the transmittal of this. I'm just putting this out there, hoping that we can get a little bit closer to something that would really be more equitable. I mean, for example, I think HOV or limited access lanes for expressways are equitable. If you're gonna go a long distance, get in these lanes and go fast, everybody together. So there are ways to have managed lanes, express lanes, without dividing people based on income. So, I'm just gonna, I don't have a suggestion right now for text for that. I'm just putting that out as a concern and hoping that we can address it at some other time. But with that, I do want to say that we have a lot of good stuff in here, and overall, I'm very proud of it.
Thank you. I actually agree, and with the work that we're doing on our equity profile might provide us with some circumstances and potential recommendations that we could address the changes in the future. So I appreciate that comment. Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
Thank you, and thanks for raising it. They are inherently inequitable, as you've stated. The only reason that they work is because they take lower income people off the lanes to provide better opportunity for people who can afford. Really, they've been in South Florida $10 for 10 miles. That's been true in Virginia and in other places, and we're about to see how they are in Orlando, and they never implemented them yet on the veterans, which I think would be a lesson once they do, and we'll understand what the costs are. And as I've understood as well, that the tolling doesn't really pay for the lanes at all. We're still paying for them. I mean, every single taxpayer with general revenue that we have are paying for building the lanes, because a lot of times, and I've seen the analysis, the economic analysis of these, the tolling facilities are actually take much of the money, absorb much of the money, and so that not much can go to actually pay for construction or provisions of the road. And so everyone pays for it, but only few can use it. So I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think we should have a strong statement in there, what it results in the end when the state has a different policy. And that's mostly where the issue is. I don't know, but I'd like to have a very strong statement with regards to what we put forward as our policy.
Excellent, thank you very much. I don't see anyone else in the queue, and so with that, do you have I've lost my place. You've got your motion? No, we're done on the motions? That's what I was thinking. We haven't got any public hearings, so we're going to go ahead and do each of the vote on each of the amendments, and then at the end, we will vote to transmit all of them. So at this point, I'd like to take a roll call vote to approve the comprehensive plan text amendment HCCPA 2116. Entertain a motion to that? Move approval by Commissioner Smith. I have a second by Commissioner Kemp. Roll call, please.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Thank you very much. And next item is A2, HCCPA 2128, Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment for the 10-year Water Supply Facilities Work Plan. And I'd like the Planning Commission to make the presentation, please.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. If I could have HTV, please pull up this presentation. Thank you. This is HCCPA 21-28. It is a proposed text amendment to the Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan and serves as the 10-year Water Supply Facilities Work Plan. Next slide. This amendment is a publicly initiated amendment. Chapter 163 in the Florida statutes requires that local governments evaluate, analyze, and update their comprehensive plans to be consistent with regional water supply plans that are updated by the water management districts. The Southwest Florida Water Management District updated their regional water supply plan in November of 2020. The required update under the 10-year water supply facilities work plan process is that the update take place within 18 months of that larger regional water supply plan update, and this amendment serves to satisfy that statutory requirement. This is a proposed text amendment to a table in the One Water chapter. It would replace the existing table within that One Water chapter of the plan with the new table that is in your packets. In addition, there is also a detailed background report. This report is not adopted. There is a great deal of information on projections, sources, and project options, as well as analysis contained within that report. And that was developed as part of a multi-agency coordination effort with the Planning Commission, Hillsborough County Water Resources, Tampa Bay Water, and the Southwest Florida Water Management District. We also recognize the importance of updating the level of service standard related to potable water. looking at ways to incorporate pressure within that level of service standard. We're going to be working closely with Hillsborough County Water Resources to look at that language and update it and bring that forward along with the other level of service standards as part of the capital improvements element update. That update is slated to move forward in spring or summer of this year. Next slide. The purpose of this amendment is to serve to fulfill the statutory requirement for the 10-year water supply facilities work plan update. And again, the change is to the work plan table within the One Water chapter. Next slide. HCCPA 21-28 is consistent with a number of objectives and policies within the comprehensive plan. The full list of policies for consistency is available in your packet. These policies here are a few highlights that we wanted to share. First, the amendment is consistent with both intergovernmental coordination policy and One Water chapter policy about coordinating with SwiftMud to ensure consistency with the regional water supply plan. It's also consistent with One Water chapter policies related to alternative water supply, reclaimed, and conservation. And then also consistent with One Water chapter policy about ensuring that the potable water system can satisfy existing and projected demand. Next slide. This amendment was provided for state and regional agency review and comment. There were no objections that were received. The Planning Commission did receive comments from Tampa Bay Water, the Hillsborough County EPC, Hillsborough County, and the City of Plant City. Tampa Bay Water requested that the work plan table within the One Water chapter be updated to incorporate projects that are funded by Tampa Bay Water. We have made that modification, and that modification is reflected in your packets. Next slide. And Planning Commission recommends that the proposed text amendment HCCPA 21-28 be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Future of Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan for unincorporated Hillsborough County, and we recommend it be transmitted to state and regional agencies for review. This concludes my formal presentation. I am available if there are questions. We're also joined by John McCary from Water Resources if there are any technical questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I do not have any speakers signed up for this particular item as well, so I'll open it up for board discussion and entertain for a motion.
Move approval.
I have a motion by Commissioner White, a second by Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Smith, you have your name in the queue?
Yes, and I know staff worked really hard on this as well. Melissa, Ms. Dickens, did you explain what we had talked about before about the water pressure items being taken out of this and being put in the capital improvement? I might have missed that. I was wrestling with a little technology issue here.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Those will be addressed as part of the capital improvements element update. We'll be looking at all of the level of service standards, and that'll be something that we will be sure to address.
Great, thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Not seeing any other comments or hands raised. Please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan? Commissioner Hagan? Kemp?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 6-0.
Excellent, thank you very much. Next item is A3, it's HCCPA 21-22, the future land use map amendment regarding Big Bend Road and US Highway 41. Our presenter is Andrea Papandreou, and you are recognized.
Good evening, Commissioners. Andrea Papandreou, Planning Commission staff. If you give me 1 minute, I'm going to share my presentation. should be seeing the presentation on your screen. Again, Andrea Pappendrew, Planning Commission staff, presenting HCCPA 21-22, Big Bend Road and US Highway 41. And this is a future land use map amendment. So the subject site is located in the southwestern portion of the county. It is the southernmost plan amendment for this cycle. This is a privately initiated map amendment. Site is composed of 5 parcels, approximately 104.76 acres. Site is on Big Bend Road, and it's just west of the US Highway 41 and Big Bend Road intersection. The site is within the urban service area and the coastal high hazard area, and the site is within the Apollo Beach and South Shore Area-Wide Systems community plans. The existing land uses on site are vacant and public utilities. Existing land uses surrounding the site to the north include heavy industrial, light industrial, vacant, and public utilities. To the west is public utilities and vacant land. And then further west across Dickman Road is the Manatee Viewing Center. South of the site is light commercial, light industrial, public utilities, vacant, and agricultural land. East across US Highway 41 in the southeastern quadrant right by the intersection is light industrial and vacant land. There are light commercial uses clustered at the intersection node, and then the northeastern quadrant is heavy commercial, light industrial, vacant, light commercial, public institutional, and a daycare. The adopted future land use category is community mixed use 12. To the north of the site is the heavy industrial future land use category. To the east, west, and south of the site is the light industrial future land use category. Further east across the US Highway 41 are the community mixed use 12 and urban mixed use 20 future land use categories. And the further south is residential 20, residential 6, office commercial 20, and suburban mixed use 6 future land use categories. And the proposal before you today is to change the heavy industrial future land use category. So this shows the subject site facing north on Big Bend Road, and this is currently vacant and public utility land uses. This shows the subject site facing south on Big Bend Road, and this is currently listed as vacant land. This is facing east of the site towards US Highway 41. And this is facing west of the site on Big Bend Road. The existing community mixed use 12 future land use category allows up to 1,257 dwelling units on site, up to a 0.5 FAR or approximately 2.3 million square feet. And retail commercial can't exceed 650,000 square feet. The proposed heavy industrial future land use category would remove any residential density allowed on site, except for a limited accessory residential, which would be an on-site security guard. It would increase the FAR to 0.75 or approximately 3.4 million square feet. And that FAR cannot be applied to processing, storage, or outdoor storage uses. If approved, the plan amendment would remove the residential, community scale retail commercial, office, research corporate park, and mixed-use multi-purpose land uses, and it would introduce the heavy industrial and rural scale neighborhood commercial land uses. It also removed the mix of land use requirements. So based on the agency comments received, there were no objections. So Planning Commission staff is finding this plan amendment to be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the future land use element. Subject property is surrounded predominantly by the light industrial and heavy industrial future land use categories. Site is in a location consistent with the intent of the heavy industrial future land use designation, and there are no residential uses within a quarter mile of the site. The proposed amendment would result in a reduction in density and an increase in intensity that would be compatible with the development pattern in the surrounding area. The request fulfills the intent of policies 1.4, 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, and 16.5. The proposed amendment is consistent with Objective 28, Policy 28.2, which recognizes working waterfronts as an important economic generator for the county. Removing the potential for residential dwelling units meets policy 10.6, which does not allow density bonuses in order to direct residential population growth away from vulnerable coastal areas. The proposed site would serve as a logical extension of the existing surrounding heavy industrial and light industrial future land use designations to the north, east, west, and south of the site. And all these policies are located in your packet. Planning Commission staff is also finding this plan amendment to be consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the coastal management element. The site is located within the coastal high hazard area. Policy 6.3 and 10.4 state that any industrial or commercial development on more than 5 acres in the coastal high hazard area shall go through a planned unit development rezoning process for approval. Policy 6.2 states that new development in the coastal high hazard area is subject to a site plan review process and providing adequate data of the impacts upon existing infrastructure. The plan amendment change to heavy industrial would ensure that any new development will go through a site planning process, and the applicant will need to provide data that shows any impacts to infrastructure. In addition, the proposed plan amendment is not located on the shoreline and is consistent with policy 7.6. And these policies are in your packet as well. The site is located within the Apollo Beach and the South Shore Area-Wide Systems Community Plans. The Apollo Beach Community Plan Strategy Number 7 seeks to preserve areas with a light industrial future land use category designation near Big Bend Road and US Highway 41. While the proposed amendment is for a heavy industrial future land use designation, it will allow for light industrial uses and supports the intent of the community plan. For the South Shore Area-Wide Systems Community Plan, Goal 2 seeks to protect the right-of-way needed to implement the countywide corridor plan map and acquire the needed right-of-way in advance of development. Big Bend Road, that is west of US Highway 41, will become a 2-lane enhanced roadway as identified in the existing adopted corridor preservation plan. The preservation of any right-of-way will be implemented at the rezoning stage by the County Development Services Department. The amendment also meets Economic Development Objective 1 and will provide additional economic development opportunities, will allow industrial land uses as preferred in the Apollo Beach Community Plan. The proposal plan amendment is consistent with the Apollo Beach and the South Shore Area-Wide Systems Community Plans. Based on this, Planning Commission found HCCPA 2122 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the future of Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan for unincorporated Hillsborough County. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Papadra. Appreciate that. That was a very thorough presentation. Are the applicants present? We have 3 minutes set aside for each of the applicant representatives.
I am present. This is Kristen Moore with Tampa Electric Company.
You may proceed. You have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I have a very brief presentation that I will share because I think it addresses some of the questions the commissioners had at the workshop. So obviously we agree with staff's consideration and recommendation. I would point out, as Ms. Papandreou did during her presentation, this is part of an area that is heavy industrial and light industrial as well. We felt that this was probably the best land use to reflect the future uses of this area. This area is largely used by and owned by Tampa Electric already. So this will be sort of filling in. There's only a couple spots here, and here where there's other landowners in this area. So just to point out, so this is now in a type of warehousing use as well on this corner of Big Bend and US 41. This is the new Home Depot warehouse. It's a very large warehouse facility that's there. Here's the area in question. I know one question that came up. There is a reference in our transportation analysis to a solar farm, and it is anticipated that this area north of Big Bend Road will be used as a solar farm. One of the questions the commissioners asked is during the workshop is, what are the potential impacts to any future roadway uses? And the first and easiest answer is that there isn't. This is just what uses we could make of this property. It won't have any direct impact on the ability to preserve right-of-way for the future. the longer answer is it actually could be beneficial. The uses that Tampa Electric will make of this property, including its solar farm or any other potential uses, are likely to have larger setbacks than the uses that are currently allowed under community mixed use. So you're going to have a larger area for potential right-of-way acquisition in the future if the county needed that. We actually don't think the county will need much right-of-way, if any, though. I would point out, I did go back and check. The county currently has 100 feet of right-of-way along Big Bend 41, along Big Bend, west of US 41. So it's quite a bit of right-of-way that the county has right now. And as you can see, this area of Big Bend is planned for a 2-lane enhanced roadway. But even, a 2-lane divided roadway only comes up to 86 feet. So I don't know what enhancements exactly are planned, but there should be adequate right-of-way. And just to address again, this is estimated to have an overall reduction, probably a significant reduction in daily trip ends, and our traffic analysis is actually assuming a worst case scenario. And as I stated, part of this will be used for a solar farm. We know solar farms don't have a lot of transportation impacts, and we doubt that the rest of the balance of the property, whatever it may be used for in the future, would have anywhere near this number of trips.
Thank you. Your time is up, ma'am.
Okay.
Do you have other applicants that would like to present? With each of them have 3 minutes. Okay, so I see you have questions. So in the event that we have questions for you, we'll entertain those questions. Are there any other applicants here to speak? Seeing none. Although this is a public hearing, we have set aside 3 minutes for any speakers. Seeing that I do not have anyone signed up for this particular item, I'll open it up for board discussion and for consideration. Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
Yes, I just want to move approval wholeheartedly. I'm very excited that we would go or that it looks like TECO will use this as another solar opportunity. It looks like a really excellent use, reducing traffic here, reducing impacts on a coastal high hazard area, kind of a perfect use, as well as, and I'd asked about this, and I know others did, the preserved right-of-way there, should we have ferry transit leaving from that area, but also as well bicycle and pedestrian pathways through there. And even on the other side, the old Big Bend Road is a really, I think, great opportunity to move across that, as we hear practically every meeting we have, super impacted area. Again, today we heard more about that a bit to the east, but still. So I am very pleased that this is the use that's been arrived on, and look forward to seeing this developed.
Excellent. Commissioner Cohen, you're recognized.
I just wanted to say I agree with everything Commissioner Kemp just said. It's really a win-win for the community, certainly taking the traffic off a very, very congested road, and also developing our solar capabilities, which everyone agrees is a very, very important goal. So I wholeheartedly support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments, please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being here.
Madam Chair, who was the
Thank you,
second to that
Commissioner.
motion, please?
It was Commissioner Kemp made the motion and Commissioner Smith seconded it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, the next item is item A4, it's HCCPA 2123. It's a future land use map amendment on a coastal high hazard area update. And the Planning Commission, please introduce this amendment.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sean College with Planning Commission staff. I'll share my screen to show you a brief PowerPoint. This item is Comprehensive Plan Amendment 21-23. You should be seeing my screen now. This is a publicly initiated plan amendment. The state of Florida has recently updated the coastal high hazard area. The update of the comprehensive plan is required by state law to show this area on the comprehensive plan future land use map series. This is somewhat of a housekeeping item. There really is no local discretion with regard to this area or displaying this area. The state determines the area and state law requires it to be represented in the comprehensive plan. So the subject of the plan amendment would be updating the future land use map from the past coastal hazard area to the new updated coastal hazard area. On your screen is the current map that would be deleted. And now on your screen is the updated future land use map, the only change being the green coastal hazard area line, which is updated to reflect the new line, which is currently is in effect per state law. This is internally consistent with the comprehensive plan, with the definition of the coastal hazard area and the policies regarding the coastal hazard area. There were no agency comments, no objections with regard to transmitting and adopting this plan amendment. With that, the Planning Commission does recommend that you find this consistent and transmit it to the state for review with intent to adopt it. And I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that presentation. There is an opportunity for public hearing, and as a public hearing, we have 3 minutes per speaker. I do not see any speakers signed up to speak. Is there anyone present? Hearing none or seeing none. I'll open up for board discussion or for approval.
Move approval.
Second. I have a motion by Commissioner White for approval, a second by Commissioner Myers and Commissioner Smith. Please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Okay, so part of all of this section, we need to vote to approve the resolution for transmittal of these amendments along with any changes that were approved and voted for. So I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Kemp, second by Commissioner White to transmit. Please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, we are now at the adoption public hearing section, the next item, and I'm going to ask the Planning Commission to introduce item HCCPA 2110, the Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment, the Recreation Open Space Section Update.
Good evening, Commissioners. Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. One moment, I will share my screen. All right, are you all seeing the PowerPoint?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, thank you. Again, Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. This is HCCPA 21-10. This is a update to the Recreation and Open Space section, and this is an adoption hearing this evening. I'll try to be brief. This was before you back for transmittal on September 30th. The Recreation and Open Space section was last updated in a major way in 2008. We have worked collaboratively with county staff to develop the update, and there are a number of significant updates to the language, including modernization, incorporation of best practices, ensuring that the language integrates and supports master planning efforts. We've also updated the language to reflect the comments and feedback that we received throughout the process. And overall, the new Recreation and Open Space section has 1 goal, 7 objectives, and 66 policies. It updates and replaces the existing recreation and open space element. It also moves, streamlines, and realigns parks-related language throughout the comprehensive plan to the appropriate location. There are a number of highlights within the recreation and open space section. They are listed there on your screen. This was consistent with recreation and open space, the recreation and open space element goal, conservation and aquifer recharge element goal 1, and the capital improvements goal. There have been no changes to the language since transmittal on September 30th, and we received no objections from reviewing agencies. This concludes my presentation. I am available if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. This is a public hearing. The applicant can speak to this. Make sure I'm in the right spot. So I just turned it over. My apologies. Lost my page. There's an opportunity for 3 minutes for each speaker that would like to speak to this amendment. I'm not seeing anyone that signed up for this, so seeing that there are no speakers requested to speak, I can open it up for board discussion and vote for.
Move approval.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner White, a second by Commissioner Smith. Please take a roll call.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving to B2, item HCCPA 2111, the comprehensive plan text amendment, the solid waste section update. Planning Commission, could you please introduce the amendment?
Sure. Good evening, Melissa Dickens, Planning Commission staff. This is HCCPA 21-11. In one moment, I'll share my screen. All right, are you all seeing it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. This is a comprehensive plan text amendment, HCCPA 21-11, and an update to the solid waste section. This is also an adoption hearing. Similar to recreation and open space, the last time that solid waste went through a major update was back in 2008. We have worked collaboratively with county staff to develop updated language, and the element represents a shift from a disposal-focused element to providing a framework for sustainable solid waste management. Overall, within the new solid waste section, there is 1 goal, 4 objectives, and 28 policies. The amendment updates and replaces the existing solid waste element in its entirety. It also adds new definitions and modifies the level of service for solid waste within the capital improvements element. There are also a number of highlights on the screen related to the updated section. Planning Commission found this consistent with the solid waste element goal, the conservation and aquifer recharge element goal 1, and the capital improvements goal. There have been no changes since transmittal on September 30th, and we have received no objections from state and regional reviewing agencies. This concludes my presentation. I'm available if there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. We have allotted 3 minutes to speak. I do not have anyone signed up to speak. Unless hearing otherwise, I'd like to entertain a vote to adopt this text amendment.
Move approval.
Second. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I moved
Commissioner-
approval. Commissioner Myers was a second.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Kemp and Commissioner Myers. We have a motion by Commissioner Kemp, a second by Commissioner Myers. Please take a roll call.
Chair Overman,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Kemp, Myers,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We'll move on to B3, HCCPA 2112, the comprehensive plan text amendment for the coastal management section update. Planning Commission, please introduce this amendment.
Good evening, Commissioners. Diego Guerra, Planning Commission staff. Today I'll be presenting Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2112, the Coastal Management Section Update. This item was brought to you before in September at its transmittal hearing. The Coastal Management Section is part of the third phase of the Comprehensive Plan Update and part of the Natural Open Space chapter of the Comprehensive Plan Update as depicted on the graphic to the right. The current context of the element includes language on estuaries, management, beaches and dunes, land use suitability, emergency preparedness, post-disaster redevelopment, public infrastructure, and language specific to Port Tampa Bay. The section update focuses on current policy direction and priorities for coastal planning within the county. Important components of the existing plan have been reframed, however, they have been updated and modernized. 50% of the update consists of new policy language, and all community vulnerability study policy recommendations were incorporated into the update as well. The new section is reduced in size from over 100 goals, objectives, and policies to approximately 80 within the update. We reviewed the plan for consistency with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan and found it consistent with the Coastal Management Element Goal 1, Environmental Sustainability Goal 3, the One Water Chapter Goal 4, and the Future Land Use Element Goal. We did not receive any objections from any of the reviewing agencies. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, sir. This is a public hearing. I do not have any speakers signed up, but there's 3 minutes allotted for any that are here. Hearing none, I'd like to open it for board discussion and a vote to adopt this text amendment.
Move approval.
Move approval. A motion by Commissioner Kemp, second by Commissioner Myers. Please take a roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there. Commissioner Smith, you're recognized.
Yes, just a quick question for staff and a comment. I know we I've been working with some people on shoreline protections with living shorelines. I'm sure Commissioner White is hearing about that in Tampa Bay Estuary Program, and Commissioner Cohen's, I'm sure, hearing about it in the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Commission, which is just recently drafted a uniform shoreline protection model ordinance. I'm hoping we might really make some progress here as a county in planning to protect our shorelines with natural features that can do so much more for providing habitat as well as protecting people from flooding and particularly wave action of storms. So I would just like to ask staff quickly about anything new in this plan amendment that moves the needle on living shorelines, natural shoreline protection.
Yes, ma'am. There is language incorporated into the update that speaks to natural and living shorelines, encourages the use of natural and living shorelines, promotes green infrastructure as well within the coastal area, and promotes the conservation of beaches and dunes as well to ensure that erosion is minimized and combined with those living shorelines would minimize erosion.
Thank you. I'll be looking forward to seeing that in action as we, get ideas about developing along the shoreline and the coast, to seeing those encouragements really put into action with creative ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see any other hands raised, so seeing that, we have a motion on the floor. Please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan?
Yes.
Kemp?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next item, B4, HC CPA 2106, Future Land Map Amendment for Interstate 4 and 62nd Street. Planning Commission, please introduce this amendment.
Good evening, Commissioners. David Hay with your Planning Commission staff. I will be presenting to you all this evening HC CPA 2106, which is located near Interstate 4 and 62nd Street. You did see this at a transmittal hearing on September 30th of 2021. The plan amendment is located just east of the City of Tampa jurisdictional boundary, north of East Columbus Drive and south of the Interstate 4 East Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Interchange. This is privately initiated. It is a map amendment. It's approximately 105 acres in size. It is located within the urban service area, and it falls within the boundaries of the East Lake Orient Park community plan. Here on this area, you'll see that this blue line is the jurisdictional boundary for the City of Tampa. Here we have the currently adopted future land use map. The subject site here is in that red color. That's the Office Commercial 20. To the northeast, we have the Corporex Park. That is under that Research Corporate Park land use category. Then directly to the east, we have the Residential 12. There's some light industrial, which is in the gray. We have a large pond along the western boundary, and this is Interstate 4 running southwest to northeast in this portion. If the amendment is approved, it would go to the urban mixed use 20 future land use category, represented by this pinkish color. Here we have another aerial. This just roughly shows the subject site, which is roughly here. You can see the large retention pond. And then we do have this is north of 62nd Street that serves the site. Here we have another, this is a bird's eye view. The subject site is located approximately here. This here is to the southwest is the Hillsborough County Community College, the Ybor City Training Facility, located right here. This is Columbus Drive to the south, and then we have Broadway. And again, Interstate 4 to the north. Here we'll take a little quick photo tour around the site. Here we're looking northwest from the intersection of East 21st Avenue and North 62nd Street. This is the subject site where the trees are at. Here we're looking southwest from the intersection of East 21st Street and North 62nd Street. So this is the subject site here behind these trees. Here we're looking north up North 62nd Street. The subject site is over here on the left. Now we're looking south down North 62nd Street toward Columbus Drive. This is the subject site on the right. And then now we're standing on North 62nd Street and we're looking directly into the subject site. We're moving south. Now we're looking north up North 62nd Street. This is from the intersection of East Columbus Drive. And now we're looking west down East Columbus Drive from the intersection of North 62nd Street. So the North 62nd Street leading up to the site is out of frame of the picture to the right. And then we also, this area of Columbus Drive has a lot of heavy commercial, light industrial uses. Here we're looking at the northeast corner of East Columbus Drive and North 62nd Street. This is a plumbing facility, JNS Plumbing. And then we're looking southwest corner of East Columbus Drive and North 62nd Street. Again, a heavy commercial, light industrial use. Yeah. Under the adopted Office Commercial 20, the subject site can be considered for a maximum of up a little over 2,000 dwelling units and a maximum of intensity 0.75 FAR with a maximum of 600,000 square feet. There are some significant wetlands on the site, so the site would need to comply with the wetland density credit within the comp plan. That would potentially bring the site down to approximately 1,300 dwelling units. That's under that Office Commercial 20. If it is decided to amend it to the Urban Mixed Use 20 future land use category, those totals would remain the same, though the FAR would increase over what is permitted under the Office Commercial 20. Again, the wetland density credit would greatly limit the square footage, and these are estimates. These are all estimates, and actual development potential is dependent on final EPC delineation of the site, and that is through any future rezonings. As always, we send these out to our partner agencies. None of our agencies expressed any concerns. It should be noted that the Hillsborough County Public Schools did state that Oak Park and Mann Middle currently have adequate capacity, while Blake is projected to be over capacity. There is capacity, does exist in adjacent concurrency service areas to accommodate the project. And just a friendly reminder, this is an analysis for adequate facilities only and is not a determination of school concurrency. A school concurrency review will be issued prior to preliminary plat or site plan approval. And again, it is noted from EPC there are wetlands on site. Your Planning Commission did review the request and did find that it met consistency with a number of compatibility policies. The definition of compatibility within the county's comprehensive plan does state that the compatibility is defined as the characteristics of different uses or activities or design which allow them to be located near or adjacent to each other in harmony. Planning Commission did find it consistent with Land Use Policy 16.2 and 16.3, and also 16.13, promoting mixed-use development, and Policy 19.1, which would require mixed-use development. It should also be noted that it was found consistent with East Lake Orient Park's community plan under the economic development section. This land use amendment would provide opportunities for business growth and jobs within the East Lake Orient Park community. So based on those findings, the Planning Commission the Planning Commission does recommend to you this evening that HCCPA 2106 be found consistent with the future of Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Is the applicant present? They have 3 minutes per speaker.
Yes, good evening, commissioners. I am Neil Strelo, a senior planner with VHB. My office is located at 501 East Kennedy Boulevard, Suite 1010, Tampa, Florida. I am the authorized agent for Scannell Properties, the applicant seeking the future land use change from OC20 to UMU 20 for our subject property. We're seeking this land use change to allow warehouse and distribution uses on the site. The site is located along the Interstate 4 corridor and within a designated opportunity zone and adjacent to other properties with similar land uses. The existing property's conditions have been described by staff in their reporting. I appreciate Mr. Hayes' reporting. There are wetlands and open water, stormwater ponds along the interstate right-of-way that sets the developable portions of the site more to the south and eastern portions. This application has a companion major modification of the planned development application under review. Additional wetland boundary survey and offsite transportation analyses have been completed, and we're pending some resubmittal to answer those county reviewer questions. We anticipate this information in the near future, and we'll finalize any condition requirements as part of the PD's conditionalized approval. This information will come back to the board for your review and approval as part of that major modification of the existing planned development zoning. As reference, our major modification application is seeking only up to 382,500 square feet of warehouse distribution and 40,000 square feet of office use in a single phase. It's substantially less than what the maximum FARs in this category based upon the conditions on the site. Our proposed major mod will include off-site improvements to 62nd Street and Columbus Drive, and we're working to preserve and mitigate any wetland impacts per EPC requirements during that process. We respectfully ask for your approval of the future land use amendment and are available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, sir. I do not have any other speakers signed up for this particular public hearing, unless someone will correct me. We'll open it up for board discussion and for a vote.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion by approval by Commissioner Myers, a second by Commissioner Kemp. Seeing no comments, I don't see any online. Please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan?
Yes.
Kemp?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. Okay, we are at B5, HC CPA 2118, Future Land Use Amendment Map Amendment at Thonotosassa Road and Kingsway Road. Will the Planning Commission please introduce this amendment?
Hi, good evening, commissioners. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Give me one moment. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Good evening again. My name is Jillian Massey with the Planning Commission staff. And this evening I will be presenting on application HC CPA 21-18, Thonotosassa Road and North Kingsway Road. This is a location map of the plan amendment. HC CPA 21-18 is in the northeast Hillsborough County in the Thonotosassa area on the south side of Thonotosassa Lake. This is a privately initiated map amendment located on approximately 24.21 acres. It's located in the rural service area and within the limits of the Thonotosassa Community Plan. Currently, the property is being used as an agricultural tree farm. It is surrounded by other agricultural uses and single-family homes. The subject property has two future land use categories. Currently, the northern portion is residential 1, and the southern portion is agricultural rural 1 to 5. Surrounding the property, the future land use categories are agricultural rural 1 to 5 to the south and east, residential 1 to the west, residential 2 further southwest, and residential 6 further northwest. The applicant is proposing to change the agricultural rural 1 to 5 future land use designation on the southern portion of the property to residential 1, so that the entire parcel has a future land use category of residential 1. Here you can see the subject site fronting on Thonotosassa Road. This is across the street, facing towards the subject site. You can see the trees on there as agricultural use currently. This would be standing at the subject site, looking across the street, looking east on Thonotosassa Road. This is looking across the street from the subject site, looking north on Thonotosassa Road towards Lake Thonotosassa. This is looking towards the subject site and west on Thonotosassa Road. This is looking north on North Kingsway Road, going towards the property on Thonotosassa Road. On the right-hand side of the road there, in the distance, would be the rear portion of the property where the more wooded area is. So potential impacts of this application. Since there's already residential 1 future land use designation on part of this property, there will be no changes in potential uses on the site. The major potential impact by changing the AR portion to Res 1 will be that the maximum density permitted will go from 16 dwelling units to 24 dwelling units. So we're talking about an additional 8 dwelling units from what would already be permitted on the site. The maximum intensity stays the same at 0.25 FAR, but changes from 40,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet. So actually it decreases in intensity. Consistency review was done with our goals, objectives, and policies in our comprehensive plan. It was found that the application is consistent with Objective 4 and Policy 4.1 in the future land use element regarding the rural service area, Objective 16 and Policies 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, and 16.8 regarding neighborhood protection and compatibility. Objectives 18 and its associated policies regarding community planning. Goal 12 and Objective 12-1 in the community design component. And as mentioned earlier, this application is located within the limits of the Thonotosassa Community Plan. It was reviewed in the livable communities element and found to be consistent with the intentions of the plan and goals 3 and 4, which talk about the agricultural and rural nature of the community, large lots as far as residential uses go. With regards to this application, there were no objections from any of the reviewing agencies. And the Planning Commission found HCCPA 21-18 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the future of Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan for unincorporated Hillsborough County. That ends my presentation, and I'd be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Massey. I appreciate it. Is the applicant present? And if each applicant has 3 minutes to present.
Commissioners, good evening. William Malloy with Malloy and James, 325 South Boulevard, Tampa, Florida. I will keep this very brief. We hope this is a very reasonable request to simply unify the future land use on this parcel. It's about 24 acres just south of Lake Thonotosassa. And as Ms. Massey said, the southern 9 acres are encumbered with an AE designation, which is 1 to 5. This request would simply take the entire parcel to a 1-to-1, which would allow for 24 1-acre lots. I am happy to answer any questions you may have about that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other applicants that wish to present on this item? Seeing or hearing none, I see that we have 3 speakers signed up to speak to this item. First one on my list is Robert Alves. Is Robert Alves available?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. My name is Robert Alves. I reside at 11907 Thonotosassa Road, which is directly adjacent to the property in question. I am also bringing with me some concerns from Mrs. Betty Fairbanks at 11906 Thonotosassa Road. Commissioners, with your permission, Mrs. Fairbanks is a widow of retired Tampa Police Lieutenant John Fairbanks. She's lived on this property for 58 years, and she's 82 years old and just not capable of being here, so she's asked me to bring her concerns. Her first first one is drainage. Commissioners, that area already drains into her yard, but it just brings water and a few chemicals, nothing bad. Now you're asking this lady to put up with the drainage from X number of septic tanks into her yard. Doesn't seem like a good idea to me. That's her first concern. Her second concern is one that I concur with, and that's traffic. Commissioners, the Notasassa Road is not heavy enough to handle that, for want of a better term. It cannot handle that additional traffic. You're talking 24 homes, at least 2 cars. That's 48. Plus there's going to be additional. Yeah, we're going to have 50 to 60 additional cars right there on a daily basis. It can't handle it. And to Notasassa Road being the oldest paved road in unincorporated Hillsborough and the scenic route around the lake, doesn't need to be modified to accommodate this. This needs to be not happened. So those are Mrs. Fairbanks' concerns. Mine are, of course, traffic and the fact that this is a proposed subdivision in a place that has no place for subdivisions. It's out of place here as a trailer park. Just hard for me to fathom anybody would want to do this, but they do. So, with everything else that I've already said, and I sent each commissioner a packet outlining concerns, this is larger than 1 acre. Everybody out here has fairly large properties, single-family homes. That's what needs to be.
Mr. Alvis, your time is up. I do know that you're speaking on behalf of someone else.
Thank you very much, madam. That's all right. I've probably said all I really could say. So I thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you much for being here. I appreciate it. The next speaker is Elizabeth Belcher.
Yes. Elizabeth Belcher, Seffner, Florida. This land use amendment is nothing more than an attempt at evading the zoning process. I would like to remind the board what happened when this was used as a way of evading zoning for the Walmart Superstore at South Brandon at Bloomingdale and Lithia Pinecrest. It resulted in the fiasco at Bloomingdale intersection. It has cost the taxpayers of all Hillsborough County millions of dollars to address the road conditions caused by that land use amendment. The traffic problems still have not been corrected. It is still gridlock. While the owners of the B5 property might claim it is an insignificant piece of property, approval of B5 will start the county on the slippery slope of using single land use code changes to evade community input and notice on questionable developmental projects everywhere in the county. Approving B5 will set a precedent for developers to start a new wave of sprawl everywhere in the county. It will gut any zoning regulations. I ask the board to vote against B5. Require the developers of this property to go through the zoning process to allow proper notice. Thank you.
Ms. Belcher? Okay. Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here. The next speaker is Grace McComas. Is Ms. McComas available?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go right ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Grace McComas, 805 Old Darby Street, Seffner, Florida. I'm opposing B5 as for all the reasons stated by the 2 previous speakers, but especially for the process. As you're all aware, changing the future land use amendment 1 property at a time seems to be the relatively new strategy to change the density of a property or land use category, superseding, circumventing, or doing an end run around the zoning and rezoning process. Allowing this new amendment change strategy is a terrible, dangerous precedent to set, and we don't want it in the rural areas of Seffner and Tanaunsasa. Comp plans and future land use amendments are for future long-term area changes intended to responsibly plan future area growth, not monthly individual property changes through land use amendment changes. I ask you please deny this amendment change and any amendment changes like this that come before you with this intended strategy. We have a process for changing a zoning or a density, and it needs to be the process that is used. I appreciate this time and the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you very much. I don't have any other speakers signed up for this particular item, so I will offer 3 minutes as a rebuttal period to the applicant.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Without discounting at all any of the concerns that were expressed by the 3 individuals who just spoke, I would just reinforce that what I just heard were issues related to zoning, which is obviously yet to come on this project. This is an approved plan development already for the 16 lots. We would down the road seek to modify that. What's occurring this evening. This is simply an opportunity to change the future land use. When we do get to the zoning stage, any issues of drainage or the septic tanks will be addressed by your very professional staff. Traffic concerns, as you know, will be thoroughly reviewed. I will point out that we did provide what I would call an accelerated traffic study for this comp plan amendment, which wouldn't have been normally required because with the addition of just 8 units, it's a de minimis impact. It doesn't require a full traffic study. And then finally, again, I would just reinforce for the public and for you that we're not asking for any particulars here. This is a comp plan amendment, not a zoning. And we have no opportunity or means to avoid the zoning that comes down the road after this. In the zoning file, should you care to look, you would find several letters of support for this project. We didn't feel we needed them this evening, but they do exist. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions or expound further on anything I just said. Thank you.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to open it up for board discussion. The first commissioner asked to speak is Commissioner Kemp.
Thank you. I will be making a motion to deny this. I think it's clearly inconsistent and incompatible with the surrounding area. And I'd like to start by the staff showed a map, which I don't think or maybe I do in one of these maps here, that was the color coding of what is there now during the presentation.
Page 21.
Page 21 it was? I wasn't sure which map it was. Thank you. Oh, yes, I see now.
There you go. Commissioner Kemp, is that what you're referencing?
Yes, that's what I'm referencing. Okay. And it's, you may not have made it to that map in the back there, but if you look now, you can see where it's very slight difference. But the northern part, right on Lake Tanaunsasa, has, that is 15 acres. And as I said, that has already been, the future, the comprehensive plan already allows it for 1 to an acre there. I also understand that maybe up, and you could maybe see this later, but up to the northern part on the lake is, could be not very feasible to build on. And you can see the wetlands all surrounding this area to the east and south, and you can see along the lake some of that. But you see the lightest green, they've already got the opportunity there to build 16 dwelling units. And you can see that already goes far south than the other surrounding properties around the lake that allow for that. So, and it goes into this area, which is a little bit darker green, which is 1 to 5. That huge area that it's right in the middle and kind of sticks down into, that whole area is 1 to 5 already. So if the applicant wanted to, they could get another acre of their other property and have 2 dwellings on there. They would have their 10 acres. Otherwise, they already have the capacity with the 15 acres to do apparently 16 homes, as they have said. If you look then to a Google map, I just want you to see, and this wasn't put up in the presentation, but it's in our book here, just to kind of get a sense of this area. Can we have one of the aerial? Oh, here it is. We have something here, an aerial map. There we go. So you can see how the top part of that, these other places around the lake are developed right on the lake, and they already have 15 acres straight down. But in the southern part of it, it's all 1 to 5. You can see that there's barely development. Even that place to the, it would be to the west or next door, close to it, you can kind of see the subdivisions, but that's on the other map. It doesn't go down that far with any kind of entitlements to subdivide that property. They still have the 1 to 5 on that acreage. And you know, there are many reasons. This is far, far outside of our urban service area, far outside. There will be required, there won't be able to deal with anything. It has to be septic and well water here. There's no other choice about that. That will impact, especially already with the developments that they're already entitled to. It's going to impact that area tremendously. You all saw that road that is for the traffic that's going to be put on it. I understand 110 trips if this was all built out. You know, you could see that was a narrow 2-lane road, drop off at the side, doesn't even have any kind of shoulders. There is a sidewalk apparently to the south side of it. I don't know how completely that goes. I tried to kind of follow it on Google Maps, but there is some sidewalk there. But it is really, you could see it was an unimproved 2-lane road that had you know, very little capacity. And we're talking about putting this in the rural service area with septic and well, far outside the urban service area. And I just see no reason to give this further entitlement and break up what is there and is consistently 1 to 5 agricultural land that allows, you know, someone to develop it as they bought it, which is purchased it, which is 1 unit per 5 acres. And I believe it should remain that way.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Kemp, a second by Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Smith, you're recognized.
Thank you, and thanks to the citizens who came out. I know in this, you know, rural area, you don't have a lot of neighbors and people to come. So for us to see these 3 people, and speaking on behalf of the other woman tonight, I really appreciate you all making the time and helping us to understand the nature of your neighborhood. I couldn't agree more with everything you all said tonight, and well done. I agree with every single thing Commissioner Kemp said about this being on in the far reaches of the rural area on Lake Thanotasassa. You will have noticed, maybe as you looked at the maps, that there are other large wetland systems in this area wrapping around, and the well and septic and the higher density would be impacting that. What I will add to everything Commissioner Kemp said, is that this is, and a couple of the speakers alluded to the planning process. We did zoning all day this morning. This is comprehensive plan. This is our big picture constitution. This is where we should be planning. All right, we want agriculture big here, and somewhere along the line they decided they wanted 1 per acre around the lake. Fine, but this would be taking one little piece of property and poking a finger in higher density into the rural farmland of 1 per acre. That's more like, spot zoning than big picture, long range planning. If we want to eventually put higher density out here, we should be painting the whole area, not one little thing. But what will happen with this one little thing, and y'all might think, oh, 24 houses, that's not that much, it's not that many cars, but it's a precedent. As soon as you do this, it would be very hard to deny the next one and the next one and the next one, and that's how sprawl happens. And, that has happened in places in this county where it seemed like, oh, we're just going to give it to this one landowner to finish out his parcel. But once we do this, it'll be very hard to deny the next one and the next one. It's better to keep the big picture plan in place for the whole area and acknowledge this is rural area. It's, the drainage, the wetlands in the area. I can see how people would be concerned about that. The septic tanks, again, won't just be these 24. Once we say this, I just think we are, because of the nature of it, it's poking a new finger into a hole into the rural area. It would be inviting more sprawl. So I hope we can deny this for the sake of this, the character of this rural area and the natural resources and the lifestyle that this community enjoys.
Commissioner White, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just want to say that I have a little different perspective on this one. I won't be supporting the motion to deny. Our comp plan does recognize Res 1 as a rural density. This piece is unique in that it has the mix of the Res 1 and the AR. I hear what Commissioner Kemp and Commissioner Smith are saying, and I would ordinarily agree, but I think this one's just such a unique circumstance that I'm not going to support the motion to deny.
Got turned off. So I see no other speakers in the queue. So I will ask for a roll call vote.
Chair Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
No.
Hagan?
No.
Kemp?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
No.
Thank you. Motion carried. 4 to 3. Commissioners Cohen, Hagan, and White voted no.
Clerk, does this require 5 votes?
To adopt the plan amendment would require 5 votes.
But to deny the amendment?
No, because it would be necessary to have 5 votes for approval.
For approval of the
adoption.
change. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was clear. Okay, great. Thank you very, very much. So the motion failed. Is there any other discussion regarding this item? I mean, the motion passed to deny. I apologize. Commissioner Kemp.
1 second. I'd just like to say also the precedent setting of it. I know we've already had this discussion, but I like to thank the residents that come in because it's hard to do. And I always enjoy Ms. McComas when she speaks. She's very knowledgeable and thank her for her comments.
Thank you very, very much. The next item is item B6, Hillsborough County, HCCPA 2125 Future Land Use Map Amendment for the Lutz Lake Fern Road. The Planning Commission, please introduce this amendment.
Thank you. Krista Kelly, Planning Commission staff. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can, and please stay close to the mic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Here, I'll try and speak up.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm presenting Comprehensive Plan 21-25. This is a future land use map amendment. It's a privately initiated map amendment located in the northern portion of the county. It's approximately 3 acres in size. It is within the urban service area boundary. It's approximately a half a mile east of the Suncoast Parkway, and it is on the north side of Lutz Lake Fern. It is also within the Lutz community planning boundary. These maps give you an idea of the existing land use pattern and character of the area. It's predominantly suburban scale residential development surrounding the site. The site is here. This little excerpt is zooming out to show you the suburban development pattern that surrounds the property to the north. To the south of the site, there's a country club and golf club, and then additional suburban scale residential development. To the west of the site, you'll see a campus with an elementary, middle, and high school. And then further to the west is the Suncoast Parkway. To the east, you'll see additional single-family homes fronting along Lutz Lake Fern, and scattered retail uses. It extends approximately 4 or 5 miles to Del Mabry. Currently, the site has an agricultural rural land use designation, which allows 1 unit per 5 acres. This site is 3 acres and a lot of records, so there is 1 home on this site, and it is recognized. It's hard to see, but adjacent to the site to the west, this orangish color is residential 4. This was an amendment that was approved in 2016. The blue area is public, quasi-public, and it's recognizing the school site and the school campus. The surrounding area, again, is predominantly suburban scale residential, designated residential 1 and residential 2. The applicant's proposing to change to residential 4, the same land use as its neighbor to the west. The additional sites to the east appear to be remnant agricultural tracts in this area, and that are transitioning either to residential 1, 2, and in this case, they're asking for residential 4. This is a street view of the area. This is looking at the proposed amendment site. The top photo is looking east along Lutz Lake Fern. I wanted to point out that it's a 4-lane arterial and there are sidewalks on both sides, assisting and providing pedestrian walkways towards the school site, and also the recreational facilities, the golf club, and other retail uses. Looking west, the photo on the bottom, you can see the school campus on the right-hand side, and then very far in the distance, you can see the Suncoast Parkway interchange. This is directly or somewhat directly south of the site, and that is the country club. The change from AR to the proposed residential 4 category would essentially increase the number of dwelling units from 1 unit to 12 units on site. And it would also allow an increase from 30,000 square feet of non-residential use to 75,000 square feet of non-residential use if the location or criteria was met. There is no change to the floor area ratio. Both categories retain a 0.25 FAR maximum. This amendment was distributed for agency comment. We did not receive any objections. The amendment was reviewed for consistency with the comprehensive plan. The proposed change was found consistent with future land use element policies 1.2, 1.4, 16.1, 16.2, 16.3, and 22.8. They are all in your packet, and they deal with the growth management strategy articulated in the comprehensive plan, directing growth into the urban service area, and also giving guidance on promoting and encouraging compatible uses. It was also reviewed for consistency with the Lutz Community Plan. The Lutz Community Plan articulates a vision of maintaining a semi-rural character, although it does recognize that west of Del Mabry, there is a suburban scale development pattern, and they provide a strategy that supports this suburban scale planned residential community and seeks to ensure that that area does thrive. Based on this information and based on these findings, the Planning Commission found CPA 2125 consistent with the future of Hillsborough's comprehensive plan and forwards that recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The applicant per applicant has 3 minutes to speak. Is the applicant present?
Yes, Madam Chair, board members. Good evening. I'm Michael Horner, 14502 North Dale Mabry Highway, representing the applicant of this request. I'll be brief. I'm going to waive our PowerPoint presentation we made to the Planning Commission. This comes to you with unanimous recommendations and approval from the Planning Commission and Planning Commission staff. This is a non-conforming lot. It is 3 acres. We are directly next door to a 2-acre tract that this board approved unanimously to Res 4 about 3.5 years ago, and also rezoning to RSC 6. This is in the urban service area. We have to connect to public water and public sewer. As Krista mentioned, we are within 200 feet of the 3 cluster public schools that have an excess of 3,500 students and an extensive busing plan. So lots of traffic on that side. And then we have the Suncoast Expressway interchange. To the east, I would only disagree with Ms. Kelly, who indicated it's AR large lot. To the east, we actually have a number of Montessori, daycare, and kinder care uses that have high peak hour impacts directly to our east. We do have Lutz Lake Fern Road, a major 4-lane divided arterial highway. The most that we can do on this parcel is probably 8 to 9 single-family lots, because we have to have a road and we have to have 25% for retention. We have no wetlands, we have no opposition, we have no objections. We think it's reasonable, it's fair, it's compatible, and we would ask for your approval. Thank you, board members.
Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. We have set aside 3 minutes per speaker, but however, I do not see any speaker requested to speak to this item. With that, seeing as there's nothing to rebut, I will assume the applicant does not need to rebut those speakers, and I'll open it up for board discussion and a vote.
Move approval.
Move approval by Commissioner Kemp. Do I have a second by Commissioner Smith? Not Ms. Commissioner Smith, you're recognized.
Yes, I just want to point out that the Res 4 that I'm supporting here allows for, 4 houses per acre, but also allows for certain commercial uses. Once you approve that comp plan designation, there's several different kinds of things that are allowed in Res 4, including some commercial, but it's my understanding that the Planning Commission staff does support the residential that would be allowed by Res 4, but not commercial. And I'm just putting this on the record because I agree with them. I also agree that the Lutz community plan would find the residential consistent here, but not the commercial that could be done in this area. And so I put that out for the owner of the property and for the record to reflect that, at least for me, while I'm approving the Res 4, that's not like all the uses. When you come back for a rezoning, I would be approving the residential, but think carefully about commercial in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, we have a motion by Commissioner Kemp, a second by Commissioner Smith. Please take a roll call vote.
Chair Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan?
Yes.
Kemp?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, 7-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. The next item is item B7. That is HCCPA 2126, Future Land Use to Map Amendment, Valrica Road and State Road 60. Planning Commission may introduce this amendment, please.
Carly Llanos, for the record. I'm a senior planner with the Planning Commission Division. This is unincorporated comprehensive plan amendment 2021-26, Valrico Road and State Road 60. This plan amendment is circled on your screen in black. It is located in the middle of the plan amendments for the October 2021 submittal cycle. This is a privately initiated small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. It's to change the future land use designation from residential 9 to residential 20. And the property is approximately 12.8 acres in size. It's within the urban service area, and it's located southeast of Valrico Road and State Road 60 intersection. State Road 60 is a principal arterial road, and Valrico Road is a county collector. On the north side of State Route 60 is non-residential use, as you can see on the screen. This whole area here is all non-residential. These non-residential uses are composed of retail, personal services, and some office. There is a Publix shopping plaza here at the southwest corner of Valrico Road and State Route 60, as you can see on the screen. And the Brandon Boulevard Shops Plaza is at the northwest corner, and it's just directly right across over here. So you have two big plazas right adjacent to the property that is outlined in pink. Now, there are several commercial businesses within the vicinity. You have directly to the north, you have a CVS, Walgreens, Taco Bell. There's also like a Valrico diner. There's a car wash, 2 gas stations. You have all this commercial component in the area, right adjacent to the property. Now, south of the property is a multifamily residential development. It's named Oak Valley, and this was developed at a density of 11 dwelling units to the acre, and it's white down here. And then south of that is a single-family detached subdivision, and it's down here. But the access to this subdivision is actually through Miller Road, so there's no access to the subdivision through Valrico. Excuse me. Now, we did a site visit on the property. This is the frontage to State Route 60, and this is a sidewalk to the east of the entrance. In the other two pictures, that is actually the entrance to the property. As you can see, it has a pretty big opening. And there is a Taco Bell in one of these segments of the portion of the property. So there is a second entrance further to the west, I believe, east, sorry. And it's unimproved right now, but there is, a ditch there, and it's cleared. So as you can see in these pictures back here. Now, there is a lot of vegetation, as you can see in some of these pictures. So it kind of helps with screening, and that's a good potential that they can use maybe during the rezoning stage. They can consider that for some type of buffering or screening. Now, the purpose of this is to show you the back portion of the property. I did walk the property. I did see there was a lot of dense vegetation back here. There's also a barrier between the subject property and the single family to the south, or the multifamily, I should say. And it's hard to see, but it should be back here. I couldn't tell because I couldn't walk all the way back there, but it might be an opaque fence or some type of black mesh screening. Now, when I stood right here in the middle of the property and I looked facing west, there is a single family home, but that's part of the actual property owner. So I imagine that at the development stage, you'd probably take it down. Now, the adopted future land use for the property is completely residential 9, which allows a standard density of 9 dwelling units to the acre and a floor area ratio of 0.50. Now, as you can see, we do have residential 6 to the north. We have office commercial directly to the west. And office commercial allows a similar density to the Res 20 that is being proposed. Okay, so the Office 20 office center, office commercial, I'm sorry. So I mentioned that it allows about 20 dwelling units to the acre. Now the Res 20 allows also 20 dwelling units to the acre and an FAR of 0.75. There is a limited retail of up to 0.35, so that kind of caps the non-residential portion a little bit, which is good. What else do we need? So we have residential 4 also within the vicinity. Like I mentioned, it was in the single-family detached portion. And then you have residential 9 and residential 6 along on the property. Now, these are the density and intensity impacts for the subject site. You have Res 9 would produce about 115 dwelling units and roughly 279,000 square feet of non-residential. The Res 20 that's being proposed will provide 256 dwelling units, roughly 415,000 square feet of non-residential. Now, what is the difference between the two districts? They both allow the same type of uses. Now, there is an increase in intensity. It increases the dwelling units by 141 and the non-residential by 139,000 square feet. We must remember that this is the comprehensive plan portion of it. So we're looking at maximum density and intensities per the future land use category. When the applicant comes during the rezoning stage, obviously it would be quite difficult to reach that maximum because they have to account for, parking and buffering, landscaping, and all the other design requirements of the code. Planning staff reviewed the subject request per the comprehensive plan policies that you see on your screen. It is within an urban service area. It's good timed growth. The area is being readily developed. It serves as a good transition between that commercial and that single family residential by providing some type of high to medium density in between. So it helps with the gradual transition. Planning Commission recommends that the Hillsborough County, unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2021 2022-26 be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the future of Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. And they did vote 7-0 for the proposed project, and I will be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I appreciate that. I have several people signed up. Several are listed as applicants and some as public speaking. This is a public hearing. The applicant does have 3 minutes per person to speak. I have listed Jacob Kramer, David Smith, Christian Yepes, Steve Henry, and Brian Blaiswick. Who would like to go first?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, none of them have checked me.
Commissioner?
Go right ahead, Mr. Kramer.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't sure you could hear me. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you again. This is Jake Kramer with Stearns Weaver. Commissioners, I just want to hit on some high points in addition to staff's report. So we're here before you today with an application that is, I'm excited because it's actually exactly what we've been hearing from you all that you want to see. So it's within the urban service area. It's outside of the Brandon Community Plan. And as you can see from this map, when you step back just a little bit at a higher level, you can see that this is within a corridor of OC20. And further to the east, there's R20 and OC20. That swath of R20, this board approved unanimously about a year ago. So there's about a mile between the OC20 and the R20. And as you'll see in just a moment, this area is planned for growth and programmed for growth. I did want to mention, though, the zoning of this property is a PD. So that means, the PD is essentially a grocery-anchored retail center. And that means to do anything, we'll have to come back before this board. That's important because I know we've received some community comments, and I wanted to let you know we fully intend to sit down with the community members when we get to the site plan stage and work through any questions and concerns that they have. So I mentioned that this area is targeted for growth. This is within the vision map. And as you can see, this area is delineated as high-intensity suburban. So you can see the corridor along Brandon Boulevard that matches up with the OC20 and the R20 that I was just describing. And that's the corridor you see here on the vision map. And the reason this area is targeted for growth is because the Planning Commission has estimated that Brandon will need to accommodate roughly 21,000 new residents within the planning horizon. So the question is, where do we accommodate that growth? And this is an ideal location to do that. We have a busy arterial road, Brandon Boulevard to the north. We have townhomes as a buffer before you get to the single-family homes to the south. And then you can see here, this is walkable to 2 grocery stores, the Publix and Winn-Dixie. And there's, as staff mentioned, there are a number of restaurants, a number of services, a number of really the essential businesses that you would need to for a lifestyle. And you can walk to these. So this is really an important infill opportunity for the county. On the transportation front, staff determined there would be no decrease to the level of service in the current configuration of Brandon Boulevard, and DOT is
Mr.
programmed.
Kramer, your time is up. Do you have another applicant with you?
Thank you. I do. Mr. David Smith will continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. David Smith. As Jake, you have the presentation. Okay. But as Mr. Kramer was indicating, this portion of State Road 60 is programmed for widening. FDOT indicated that the commencement of the project is imminent. I think what is important and to elucidate on from what Mr. Kramer was indicating is that the the development corridor that has been identified here in the long-range transportation plan is ideal for intensification as far as density, but also is on the premier plan for future multimodal opportunities. In addition, there is a project, an opportunity for CSX rail line in the future if mass transit is pushed forward through the community. And when you look at the sidewalk connections, there are sidewalk connections in all directions on this particular property. Might note that there is a school down Miller Road as well as a park. You can see that in the bottom right of the exhibit that's shown. And so when you look at where we're trying to put development, this area is not a single family corridor. The single family corridor are further down Miller Road, Valrico Road, and north on those same roads. This is a commercial corridor that has multifamily in it already, has multifamily already developed further east. And when you look at this, the professional staff has recommended unanimously for this approval of this proposal. When you look at the nearby businesses, there's a lot of support from Walmart, Home Depot, Sports and Fitness, because they're looking for multifamily opportunities for their staff, and they're also excited about the opportunities for more business users closer to them. Proposing this amendment from Res 9 to Res 20 allows for a density intensity that's more appropriate for infill project within the USA. It's in line with the vision for Brandon, and rezoning will be needed before any density intensity increases can actually be effectuated on the site. Based upon those factors, we would respectfully request that the Board of County Commissioners approve the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment to the Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners, because this is exactly what we've been hearing is where the growth should occur, not in the hearts of single-family communities, but along those transit corridors or future transit corridors, the transportation corridors that have adequate capacity, and this location does check all the boxes with respect to meeting those standards. I'll yield to the next speaker.
Do we have another applicant to speak?
Madam Chair, the developer, Mr. Christian Yepes, is on the line, and that'll be our last speaker.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Christian Yepes with Bel Air Development Group. I'd just like to add to the presentation from Mr. Kramer and Mr. Smith as the developer and applicant for the project. I'd just like to confirm that it is our intention to work with the neighboring properties and work through any concerns they may have. We have had a long history of developing projects in Hillsborough County and the surrounding counties around, like Pinellas and Pasco and Manatee, and it's a core value to our business that we look to develop projects that positively impact the communities. We truly believe that this project will be a positive impact. There's clearly a need for housing options that are conveniently located to the surrounding businesses, and we supply letters of support from those area businesses that confirm this growing need. So we know there's some concerns, but we're confident that we can deliver a project that addresses the impacts to the neighbors. We have the opportunity to come before the board again during the PUD amendment phase to discuss the particular zoning related conditions. So with that, I respectfully ask for your approval tonight, and thank you for the consideration of the project.
Thank you very much. Are there any other applicants that wish to speak prior to asking the public to comment? Seeing none at this moment, I will ask those that have signed up to speak to this item. You have 3 minutes, and when I call your name, you're welcome to come forward. Donald Wyansky. I'm sorry if I messed that up.
Yeah, it's Byansky.
Byansky?
Yeah, Byansky.
Thank you.
Yes, I've been a resident here all my life. I live right between Highway 60 and Miller, exactly. My grandfather bought this property, 40 acres, back in late 40s. So my big concern, for one, is traffic. You guys already in 2015 changed this from dwellings that I argued against back in 15 from 119. That's for, now this is for the Miller, because I want to speak on both sides. This is for 7, I need to speak on 8. The 8 now is going from 119 to 369. And let's see here. And the other side, so all in all, both sides that are affecting me here is going up to over 600 dwellings. From whatever's available now is a little over 200. To be exactly, it's 220 something. But anyway, that's at least that many dwellings is going to have cars, if not 2 cars per dwelling. And the other thing is, I am the lowest property right on State Road 60 between Miller and 60. Everything in the back of me it goes up, so everything drains to my house. Everything on both sides of me is going to drain to my house. Back in the early 2000s, we were put on to be high flood stage area. So I don't even see how they can put more blacktop around me to begin with. I'm already at high flood stage. My insurance went up 10 times, so I don't even pay for the insurance anymore. So that's just a total irresponsibility to raise it 3 times. And pave all this. The other thing to consider is my well water. With the retention ponds and drainage of all these fluids, oils, and that into the ponds, I'm going to have a hard time with my well. That's another problem. The other problem is you guys don't even think about it or need to do more studies, is the wildlife around here. We got a lot of wildlife and gopher tortoises here. That needs to be put up to be considered. But, you know, I don't know where you come off with adding 3 times more than just 6.5 years ago. That there's no impotence into raising it that high. Nothing was developed back then. But, yeah, and my neighbor tried to sign on. He has a lawyer
Mr. Bayansky, your time is up.
to speak with you guys. He said a note. I don't know if you can read that.
Sir, your time is up. Thank you very much, and you'll be able to speak to B8 when we bring that item forward, because you're listed on that as well. Thank you very much for your comments. I have the next speaker is Charles Both.
Madam Chair, both Charleses have not checked in. The next available speaker is Elizabeth Belcher.
Thank you very much. Elizabeth Belcher, you're recognized. You have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Belcher, Elizabeth Rodriguez Belcher, not to be confused with the other Elizabeth that spoke this evening. I live off of Miller. I'm a native Floridian, lived here, born here, 41 years. I oppose this project. This project, they keep saying, is consistent to our urban community. It's not. It's being compared to OC20, which is office commercial, light commercial. That's a public, a plaza with a nail salon, Ross, and everything else that is not residential. They're asking to go from 115 dwellings to 256 dwellings, which is 2 times more than what they wanted before. The highest density zoning in our area in 250 feet is the OC20, which has no residential. Then to the south of that property where they're proposing the RS20, the highest rating is RS9, residential 9, so 9 dwellings per acre. If you look up the characteristics of Valrico, Valrico offers residents a subdivision or a suburban rural mixed feeling, and most of our residents own our homes. This project, if it becomes a multi-family, 20 dwellings per acre, can potentially become a 4-story apartment complex. That is not in line with our single family. If you look at the maps that they provided, page 24 shows in color that we are primarily single family. We are more yellow than we are brown. The nearest residential 20 is more east of us. The letter was sent, the notice was sent to people 250 feet within the area. The people that will occupy the residential 20 will have to go to our schools, which are more than 250 feet away. This will impact way more. The map shows a scale of 2,300 feet, and it doesn't consider all of our community members to speak in behalf of keeping the characteristics of Valrico suburban rural mix and people that own their homes. Multifamily, if they build apartments, is not consistent to our urban area. It will devalue our hardworking homes that we build. We want a little bit of land. That's why people move here. That's the main characteristics of Valrico. It's a suburb. People work in Tampa, Florida, and they live in Brandon and Valrico. Mr. Kramer also compared us to Brandon, but it's a different feel. It's a different feel. This project is not consistent, and the projects that it's being compared to is not consistent.
Your time is up,
go
ma'am.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Your time is up. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for being here today. Thank you very much. That is the last speaker I have that's on my list. Do we have any other speakers that I may have missed? Seeing none.
No, Madam Chair, not for this.
Okay, and we have an opportunity for the applicant to rebut the speakers or any issues.
Thank you, Chair. This is Jake Kramer again. I'm just going to go back to the revision map. So again, I agree with Ms. Belcher that the character of Valrico in some parts is rural and suburban. It is different from Brandon. I also agree with that. Again, the vision map shows that this is a high-intensity suburban area, and the county has planned services to accommodate that growth. Again, what we're talking about here is about an approximately 1 mile stretch that needs that where the comp plan doesn't match up to that vision map. We're between OC20 and further to the east, there's R20 and OC20. Again, the RC20, this board just approved about a year ago. Again, the baseline here is the current PD site plan, and with a residential project, we have a lot more opportunity than with a commercial project to be sensitive to the neighbors, to work together, to work through buffering, to work through green space issues, and work together. So, commissioners, I would, again, leave you with this is actually an area where a lot of the services, schools, grocery, that people need on a daily basis, that's appropriate and needed nearby for rental units. All of that's in the area. So this is really the compatible type of infill opportunity that we've been hearing from this board that you'd like to see. There's a need for multifamily in this commercial corridor. The services are there. Your professional staff and the Planning Commission have recommended approval. So with that, I would respectfully request your approval tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll open up for board discussion. Commissioner White, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As I said in the previous public hearing, there is a lot going on in this area. You have a danger, in my opinion, a dangerous merge lane on Highway 60 eastbound between Valrico Road and Miller Road. Although pedestrian infrastructure exists in the area, it's a dangerous area for pedestrians. I watch pedestrians, literally run across the roads in those areas, even at the designated crossings, even if they have a walk signal, because there's just a lot going on. Highway 60 is pretty intense. in that area. There's a single-family home, and I'm speaking to B7 and B8 at the same time, by the way, because in my mind, they very much function as a whole. You know, I was just looking at the area as I was driving through there the other day. You know, there's a single-family home sandwiched in between the sites of B7 and B8 that's in good shape, and it's being utilized as a single-family home. It's not just a dilapidated single-family home that's sitting there waiting to be redeveloped. So I can understand the concerns there. The wildlife, I understand. I live very close to the subject site, and we're fortunate in Valrico that we do have wildlife like gopher tortoises and hawks and things like that. I even saw a wild turkey in suburban Valrico the other day. It really surprised me. So, you know, I just don't know how I feel. I mean, I understand where the planners are coming from with wanting to promote multifamily along major corridors like Highway 60. I understand the planning philosophy behind it, but this is just such a unique little area, a unique little slice of Highway 60. I can tell you, I don't know how the votes are going to go tonight, but if this comp plan amendment does pass, we know a rezoning is going to be coming our way, and I'm going to be watching for a lot of things. I'm going to be looking for the community engagement that the applicant mentioned. I'm going to be looking to see whether or not FDOT has any plans for Highway 60 along that area and when those plans are likely to take shape. I'm going to be looking for traffic flow issues that are under the county's purview. What have they been able to agree on in terms of negotiations with these property owners in between, one of which is that single family home that I mentioned. So just a lot going on. I'm not a huge fan of these, but I'm a little bit torn because we are just talking about a comp plan amendment this evening. Certainly if it passes, there's a lot that could be delved into in terms of a rezoning, but I just wanted to put those thoughts on the record.
Thank you, Commissioner White. I don't see anyone else in the queue. Commissioner Smith?
Yes, frankly, I was looking to Commissioner White to frame the discussion tonight because I know you're very familiar with that area. I'm torn. I think there is a case for some infill, and certainly, I mean, they already have the future land use that they have allows everything you see around them, a CVS, a Publix, Dress for Less, as well as some multifamily housing. So is this the time that we do both of these, to the higher intensities and higher residential development, or, or do we need to look for Highway 60 to take a little bit more time? I just hate for this to turn into the mess that we see on Dale Mabry, North Dale Mabry, or some other areas. So all I can say is I understand what you're saying. If we approve the comp plan or we transmit it, we will just have to be very, very careful on the rezoning. But I'm on the fence.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Are there any other comments? I actually have some, but I want to make sure that I give everyone else an opportunity. Commissioner Kemp, you're up. You're recognized.
I'm on the fence as well. And I was looking as well to Commissioner White to see what Commissioner White's thoughts were on this. And we have promoted density on these types of roads, but sometimes, as was pointed out, this was just changed up to Res 9, 2015, I think. I wasn't even on the board at that time, but it was just a short time ago. And I guess I would think of these transitions as taking place, that the entitlements of Res 9 would be pretty significant. And when it more than doubles in density, and it hasn't even been developed yet at that other density in any way, I just, the impacts of that, it seems a little premature, or, that we should kind of get our bearings. Also, I guess this OC 20, I'm looking at the aerial map. I'm not sure, it looks like that hasn't really been built out either, correct? So that's not really developed at the OC 20 intensity at this time either. Do we know?
Thank you. Carly Llanos for the record. So the OC 20 allows residential and commercial as well. However, right now that plaza has been built out with non-residential at this point in time. They can always come in and remodify their site plan, do a major modification or rezoning at a later stage if they desired. But the OC 20 does allow that same type of mix of uses.
Because there seems like there's that OC 20 there, but it's not really being utilized in any way, and all of a sudden that could as well just move in, and we could have that development. I'm uncomfortable with this.
Commissioner Myers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve this based on staff recommendation. And when it comes back to us for zoning, then we would be able to address a lot of our issues during the zoning process. Thank you.
Do I have a second? I'll second that. I could still run the meeting if I second something, correct? No. I pass the gavel to Commissioner Smith. Yeah, I'll second that. And the reason I will is actually, we have these major corridors. If you look at the map and you look at the map that has, these comp plan amendments side by side on Route 60, a major artery that will, if it has some bus service now, but could possibly provide commuter bus service at some level. It would provide a transition, and what looks like in the entire area around it has become commercial, as opposed to a higher density, but transitory possibly density type of residential. And right now, with the high need of residential that we need in our community, it's critically important that we at least open the door where it seems appropriate. If this doesn't look like it's going to be residential, it'll end up being commercial. And we won't have the housing that we need in an area where there's access to the services and resources that a community needs. So in many ways, this meets what we've been looking for in the way of community plan design, but this community does not have a community plan. And so it is incumbent on us to pay attention to the next steps here, but I wouldn't want to stop that opportunity at the moment. And that's why I offered the second, and we'll support the motion.
All right, and Commissioner Myers, you're still in the queue. Are you okay? Commissioner White.
Thank you. Well, after listening to some of my colleagues here on the board and understanding that at least some share the sentiment that I have, I'm truly on the fence on this one too. I'm not ready to say no this evening, but I don't know that I'm ready to say yes this evening either. The parcels that are sandwiched in between the parcels in question on B7 and B8 really concern me. So I wonder if, and the OC20, if you're referring to the OC20 that's immediately to the west, it is a very successful retail plaza that's anchored by a very busy Publix. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I don't see them adding a residential element to that. Mr. Gormley, do we have it's getting so late in the evening. I'm getting comp plan designations and zoning categories mixed up. Is there a comp plan designation that would contemplate something like an OC20 or a suburban mixed use concept?
Meaning a zoning district?
Well, I know we have the zoning districts, but what about a comp plan category?
That would.
This is they're just seeking just Res 20, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that would allow, on the zoning side, something like an SMU 20 designation, or?
It would allow consideration of up to 20 units per acre if this was approved.
In any of the zoning categories that would allow 20 residential units per acre, potentially.
If they zone to a planned development zoning district, they would be able, if it was Res 20, the zoning would be able to incorporate up to 20 units per acre.
Right.
Given the configuration of the plan amendment and the existing plan development, if this were approved, I would expect it would come in through a plan development zone.
Okay. And with the plan development potentially allowing for a commercial element to on the site.
Does.
Well, there would be the commercial piece would be a function of whether they meet locational criteria for the Res 20 category.
And do we know the answer to that? I would think they do, but.
I'll ask the Planning Commission staff if they've measured that distance from the intersection. I can't.
Yes. So Carlianos, for the record, yes, there is probably less than 200 to 300 feet from that intersection. State Road 60 is a principal arterial, and then Valrico Road is a county collector. The property is within the commercial locational criteria, so it does fit that. In addition, as to what staff had said, yes, it's in the, it would be considered RES 20, the OC 20. Technically, these two properties would be going in for a PD. So that's how we kind of, I guess, limit or kind of go through the site design process to make sure it's compatible with the surrounding area. So PD is more appropriate for the zoning stage.
Okay, so I just wonder if we wouldn't, and I'm talking about B8 as well. I know we still have to receive a presentation and hold a public hearing on that one, but for both B7 and B8, I wonder if we wouldn't benefit from more time to engage the surrounding property owners. And maybe these would be great candidates to get a rezoning traveling alongside a comp plan amendment like we've done in some cases in the past. So, Mr. Gormley, I'd like to make a substitute motion to continue this, and that would be to what? To the next cycle, or what could we continue this to?
So, Commissioner, I think if the intent was to have it paired up with a rezoning, it'd be best to just continue it to a future date, and the zoning at such time as it's ready to be filed would catch up with that. It may very well reach the next be part of the next round, but not knowing when that zoning could be filed and what community engagement activities would take place before then, I suggest just continuing it, and it would be renoticed for the hearing at which the zoning would come, or the next available comp plan hearing after it's gone to the zoning hearing master.
Okay, well, that's what I'd like to do, is to make a substitute motion to continue it to a future date.
I'll second Commissioner White's motion.
Okay, it's me. So we have a substitute motion on the floor by Commissioner White and a second by Commissioner Cohen. Any discussion? I am not seeing anybody. I've got both here. I don't see anyone else for discussion. Commissioner Myers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Just to ask, when would the next meeting be for this? Would it be the March the 10th meeting?
It would certainly be well later than March 10th in order for the zoning to get filed. It will be later in the year before this would come back to you with a companion rezoning, well after March 10th.
All right.
If the two are paired as a zoning and a comprehensive plan amendment together.
Does that answer your question? And Commissioner Overman, you recognize.
Thank you. I am concerned as well. I do believe that this is in line with our community growth strategies. And I do think that in the zoning process, there would be adequate opportunity for the applicants, given that this involves 2 plan text amendments. It's very likely that this may end up being delayed for a year or more as a consequence of that. And I'd hate to see that, especially when I need housing, something terrible. But I do hear the concerns of the community, and I do know that this is very special, but there is so much that's already happening here that I think having an opportunity to work with the community to have them define what they want, because unfortunately there isn't a community plan here. So I would rather support the original motion, so I won't be supporting the substitute.
Thank you. And I am seeing no other hands raised. I will just say, I think we've heard really compelling discussion on both sides. Commissioner Overman, I agree with you about the need for residential and the possibility that this might be the area, but I also feel like it's moving a little fast with, and a lot could be done on the current future land use. So I'll be interested to see what they might work out with a little more community engagement and support and come back. So I will support that motion. And with that, I'll call for a roll call vote on the substitute motion.
Chair Overman?
No.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan?
No.
Kemp?
Yes.
Myers?
No.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 4-3. Commissioners Overman, Hagan, and Myers voted no.
And with that, we'll pass it back.
Thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. Okay, so that takes us to B8. Well, given where that one went, HCPA 2127, Future Land Use Map Amendment, Miller Road and State Road 60. Planning Commission can introduce this amendment.
Hartley Allen for the record, Senior Planner with Planning Commission Division. This is unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2021-27, State Road 60 and Miller Road. This plan amendment is right adjacent to the previous presentation. It's right in the middle of State Road 60, which you can see on the map, and it is also circled in black. This is a privately initiated small-scale comprehensive plan amendment. It's going to change the future land use designation from residential 4 and 9, so this is a combination, to residential 20. Now, as I mentioned in the previous presentation, the area is growing. So we have State Road 60, it's a principal arterial road. It is highly transient. It leads into another jurisdiction, which is Polk County. This is a very transient road. In addition, we have seen growth happening from the west side of State Road 60 heading eastbound. So the area is readily growing, and it's being inundated with commercial and mixed use or multifamily development. Now, multifamily does not mean apartment homes. It can mean townhomes. It can mean any combination of some type of mixed use development. So that is the purpose of what the residential 20 is that is being requested before you. Now, this subject property is not in a community plan. Okay, this area is not in the community plan. The community plan starts a little further down to the east. Okay. I can say that this property is also located in the urban service area, right? And it is located southwest of the Miller Road and State Road 60 intersection. Remember, State Road 60 is a principal arterial road. Miller Road is a county collector. Okay. Now, in addition, there is a Winn-Dixie Plaza. There's several commercial plazas in the vicinity. So as I mentioned in the previous presentation, we have a Publix down here, we have Brandon Shops in the other side. We also have, right adjacent to this particular amendment, is the Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza. There's a Hungry Howie's as well there. And then directly across from the Winn-Dixie Plaza, we have several commercial businesses that are high intensive. We have several auto body parts store. We have a self-storage facility, a gas station, and a U.S. Postal Office. And we have a large realty office, a very tall realty office. I think it's 3 to 4 floors. Now, I can tell you it's, yes, I understand the concern that there are 2 existing single-family homes to the west of this amendment. I guess, like the commissioner mentioned, it was sandwiched between the other amendment. I think more or less that is probably because of the trend. So this area, many years ago, it was rural in general, but as we started seeing growth in Hillsborough County, we started to see all this growth happening eastward, and that's probably why we have a few remaining single-family homes left undeveloped to its maximum potential. Okay. Now, I did mention that we do have multifamily to the west, which is directly to the south of the previous amendment that I presented. And then we also have single-family detached further down to the south. Now, I don't have an overview map that I kind of zoomed out far enough, but we can see it from our aerials and Google Earth. We can see that the trend of residential development, single-family residential development, typically happens about 1 to 2 blocks south of State Route 60. You can see along that, on either north and south side of State Route 60, you'll see a lot of commercial mixed in with some type of mixed-use development, some type of multifamily residential. So again, these 2 properties, the one that I presented before and the one we're presenting now, they're prime candidates for residential infill. And it's a prime candidate for a mixed-use development, which is something that we need in the county and in general in the state of Florida. I know through past legislative actions, we have seen where the state is actually trying to incentivize local jurisdictions to help promote or help accept or take through these applications for multifamily development or some type of bonus density because it's much needed in the area, specifically with the high cost of the market today. So I think this is a really good opportunity as it provides, a transition from that major corridor down to that single-family detached. Now, I know you guys had a lot of questions regarding the transportation. None of the other agencies like transportation or schools or utilities had any concerns about the project. There are plans. It's actually in your packet. There are plans for that State Route 60 to be expanded into a 6-lane road. It's undergoing that review process. I think it's going to start initiating pretty soon, within the next 2, maybe even less than that, years. So that project will be coming forward. In addition, I know that HART is planning to add more bus stops along State Route 60. It does currently have one that leads eastward into Dover and then heads over to the transferring station, but there is transit there. So as staff professional opinion, we think that this is a prime candidate. It's a really good opportunity to provide or incentivize, this type of housing that is much needed in the county. Now, before you, what you see today is the frontage on State Route 60. It's the entrance of the property facing south, okay? Now, currently, there is a giant sidewalk. There is a huge ditch. It's about 40 feet wide. And then you have State Route 60, as you can see on the screen. It currently looks like probably like a farm. Most likely hasn't been developed, obviously. And then we have, here is the intersection, picture of the intersection, Miller Road, State Route 60. Here's that tall building that I mentioned, the Realty office. It's very large, very tall. And then I took a picture of Miller Road heading southbound, and then to the right is a portion of that property. Now, as previously mentioned, there is a Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza. This is the entrance of the Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza. It's right off of Miller Road. And then right back here, we have a gated community, which is a single-family detached, and it's back here, it's Valrico Forest. Now, there's existing vegetation on that property. There's a lot of potential to probably save some of that or some good potential screening or buffering, but again, this is something that we usually look at the site design level, and it's usually during the PD. Now, there is a current PD already approved on this property, and it's approved for multifamily. However, the layout, I think they're looking into redoing the layout a little bit to make it more appeasing to the surrounding property owners. Now, when I took a site visit down Miller Road, I looked at these single-family detached, and remember I mentioned that there was a few pockets of single-family detached that weren't in a subdivision, that were it looks like it was left undeveloped or to its maximum potential, right? Because of the growing trend along State Route 60. I've seen that there's a lot of growth and vegetation on these properties. I don't know if they're actually being occupied by a resident. So maybe if there's a resident here to speak on that, that would be helpful too. Okay, so the adopted future land use is residential 9 and residential 4. Okay, now the residential 9 allows 9 dwelling units to the acre. The residential 4 allows 4 dwelling units to the acre. Okay, there is an FAR difference. The residential 4 allows you 0.25 FAR. The residential 9 allows 0.50 FAR. Now, the proposed is residential 20. It would allow for 20 dwelling units an acre, 0.75 FAR, with a limited retail of 0.35. Now, I know the property is surrounded by residential 9 future land use. However, to the north is residential 6, to the south residential 4. To the east is office commercial. However, 3 parcels to the west of the subject site is a proposal for RES 20. HC CPA 2021-26 would help support this one as well. And then further to the east, you will see that there is already an adopted residential 20 that has multifamily development. So this is something that we're seeing, it's becoming infill, essentially. Now, these are the impacts. have, under the current adopted future land use category, it's going to produce 119 dwelling units. With the proposed, it'll be 369. The commercial component would be 300,000 square feet roughly under the existing. And then it'll go to about 600,000 under the proposed. There is a limitation on retail, just keeping that in mind. Now, this allows a mixed-use development on all of the property, not just a portion of it. It does increase it by 300,000 square feet, and it does increase by 250 units, okay? Like I mentioned before, it's not a guarantee that they'll be able to reach the maximum potential for that property. You have to account for a lot of site design requirements. Planning Commission staff reviewed per the policies, found it consistent. As I mentioned, it has frontage on our arterial road, it's on a county collector, it's in the urban service area. It provides good transition between high-intensity commercial corridor and leads into medium density, essentially to the single-family detached to the south. So this is a good transition. Now, we reviewed for concurrency or maximum concurrency to make sure that there's at least enough coverage because of the maximum flume. Again, like I said, no agencies did not have any objections to it as of now. They will be subject to final concurrency at the permitting stage or at the site development stage, which with the PD. So that will be reviewed thoroughly. At this point, I wanted to mention that Planning Commission voted unanimously 7-0 to approve this comprehensive plan amendment. So Planning Commission recommends that unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan Amendment 2021-27 be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the future of Hillsborough Comprehensive Plan for the unincorporated Hillsborough County, and recommends that this recommendation be acceptable to the Board of County Commissioners. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have or clarify anything that you need me to clarify.
Thank you, Ms. Lanos. I appreciate that presentation. The applicant, each of the applicants present have 3 minutes to speak to this item. And I have several applicants on the list. Ms. Batzel, do you want to begin?
Yes, please. And with your approval, rather than having all of us take 5 minutes, if you would permit me to speak for 10, I can cover all of the matters and it would just save us time. And we'll be real direct with our comments based on the last hearing as well.
That would be fine. We actually would end up with 21 minutes if all the people that signed up to speak were, so 10 sounds great. Please proceed.
Yes, I'm going to share my screen. Great. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Okay,
split.
great.
It's a split screen, though.
We are seeing the other, the back end. If you go up to display settings on the top left and click that and then click swap presenter view.
Oh, great.
There you go. Much better. Thank you.
I'm going to go through the slides really quickly and really try to hone our comments to the things that you brought up in the last hearing. I did hear some things that I think there's some misunderstandings on a couple of things. We are here tonight for Falcone and Associates. You know what the request is. I do want to spend just 1 second because I've been doing this since 1997, and I have heard from this board in particular how you are craving infill sites within the urban service area. This site is ideal for what we are proposing tonight and an ideal site for this kind of infill. As you know, it's not located in the Brandon area. You know, staff has specifically stated that State Road 60 is a major commercial corridor supporting a mixture of retail, commercial, industrial, and here's what's important, high density residential uses in the immediate vicinity of the subject site. I'm going back to Mr. Kramer's map. We obviously did these together. But this map really helps illustrate the nature of the corridor along State Road 60. One of the things I think that Commissioner Kemp said was that the R9 was recent. It actually wasn't the R9 that was recent. This R9 swath has been there since the beginning of the comprehensive plan. It's the Res 20 to the east, the R20, the little brown swath, that was a recent change to the comprehensive plan amendment.
Okay.
Your Planning Commission staff specifically found that, based on these existing development patterns, which is illustrated really, really clearly in this slide, the proposed change allows uses that are compatible and comparable with the existing uses in the surrounding area. You did ask about the 330 feet. Those owners aren't interested in joining, but I did want to make one comment about that. Someone asked about the flex. These would be available to flex once our properties, if they were approved for a higher comprehensive plan designation. What that means is that the property owners would have the ability to go in and change that at some time in the future. So I just wanted to clarify that this would actually increase those property values, not decrease them. I want to emphasize one thing here. This is an existing PD. This developer, and I know that the developer on the prior amendment would work very hard through the plan development process with the community. And both of those developers will commit to having community meetings with the residents when we bring the rezonings back. From a timing perspective, I was really concerned for our clients because rezoning plans, I know for the Falcones, for the subject of this particular comp plan amendment, we haven't even begun on our plan yet because we were waiting and not expending resources to the rezoning plan until the comprehensive plan was approved. That means, Commissioner Overman, you're right. It would be over a year for us to come back. And from a contractual standpoint, that would be really, really difficult. As you know, all three uses, these office uses, residential uses, mixed use, all of them are permitted. And since we do meet the locational criteria, we would be able to do residential mixed use here with this change to the comprehensive plan amendment. And I want to stop here for a minute. Jake talked about this a lot, but if you have had a chance to really review the staff report, I've seen a lot of staff reports with comprehensive plan amendments. There are 5 pages of policies and goals and objectives that support this application. 5 pages. I have never found a comprehensive plan amendment with so many different provisions from the comprehensive plan that say, hey, this is where density and infill need to be. So I just wanted to point that out because this is really going to be a missed opportunity if the board decides not to move forward with these comp plan amendments. Going back to population growth, obviously the Planning Commission estimates that Brandon and Valrico are going to increase by 13%. But there's also a statutory requirement, as you know, that we plan for that growth. And so these new people have to go somewhere. And so the board has to make those really hard choices now. Where are we going to put all the additional people that are coming into our community? So again, I go back to this great infill opportunity that you have before you today. This property specifically, the property right across the street, the Keller Williams building, as you can see, it's actually 5 stories. So from a compatibility standpoint, whether it's multifamily or mixed use family, whatever ends up going here, no one is going to put any type of single family residential along State Road 60. And the intensity needs to be significant in order to have urban infill. With the existing plan development that's on this property at the current time, the only way you would really be able to use that plan development is if you put a grocery store anchored site there. And there are already many, many grocery store anchored sites in this vicinity. I want to clarify one thing on transportation, which I think is really, really important. The State Road 60 widening project will make State Road 60 a 6-lane road from Valrico Road to Dover Road. That is already a funded project, and we understand from our transportation engineer that construction is actually imminent. That means they are getting ready to put shovels in the ground and start widening this swath of the roadway. And this is going to alleviate a lot of the transportation issues that folks are concerned about. With respect to transit and mobility, you already heard that this is on the West Shore Bus Rapid Transit route along State Road 60 in the 10-year unfunded premium service map. That just means that this is on the radar. I mean, this is where buses are intended to go in the future. So not only do you have areas where you have a widening of State Road 60, you have the potential for transit in the future, you have this rail line that can also be used. I mean, this is going to be a transportation hub in a very short period of time. These are the perfect places to add residential density so that they're in the proximity of the rail, they're in the proximity of the bus lines, they're in the proximity of the retail, the commercial. This is exactly what you all have been asking for every time I hear you talk. I do want to talk about the surrounding sidewalks. Look at all the surrounding sidewalks. So many times we don't want to put development into an area where there aren't sidewalks, but look at all that green. There is an established sidewalk system and network here that, new residential development would just fit right into this area. As we already mentioned, this sidewalk from this site is only 4 miles from the elementary school to the park and the elementary school. The site is not really appropriate anymore for low densities and intensities. Your planning commission staff has said that in their report. It's more ideal for these medium densities and intensities. Grocery stores, gas stations, everything is right within walking distance. Before I conclude, I just want to say that we do listen to you sometimes. I know sometimes you don't think the development community listens, but when our clients brought these projects to us, we thought, wow, this is perfect. This is exactly where the Board of County Commissioners has been telling us. We are checking every single box. And so I hope that you go back and think about this very clearly and very carefully, because this really is exactly what you've asked us to bring to you. So with that, we would ask for your approval, and we would ask that you go ahead and consider this comprehensive plan amendment on its own and not tie it to a rezoning down the road. We haven't started with that rezoning map, and it would significantly delay this project. We also want to just make that final commitment to you and just reiterate to you and to the community that may be watching that we will work hard, we will dig in, and we will work with the community on the PD. And I expect them to keep us to task. And when we bring those PDs back to you, we promise that they will be thoughtful. The site design will be have mitigating, buffering, screening, all of the elements that you want, as well as input from the neighbors. I mean, it may look very different than what the developers have in mind. So with that, I will stop my comments and say thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Are there any other applicant members that wish to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none.
I was hoping to make one short comment.
Okay, I do have others that have signed up for public comment that are not listed as part of the applicant team. So with that, I'll open it up because this is a public hearing to those that have that want to speak to the public hearing. Each speaker has 3 minutes, and the first on the list is Donald Bayansky. Mr. Bayansky, are you still on the line?
It seems like everybody wants to shoot this thing through. You're saying, oh, everybody wants more housing and stuff. I don't want more housing. I've been living here all these years. There's plenty of room elsewhere. It's already 19. It already was done, like I was telling you. In 2015 to 9, that was too much. I argued against that. and they went up anyway. So it needs to be just left alone at 9 and not 20. That's going to be over 600 and some units between the two areas. So, we're potential 2-3 cars. I can't even get out of my drive anymore right now, let alone even have 3 lanes, and it switches to 2 lanes by me here. You guys got to look at this stuff. I have family that likes to stay here. My neighbor, Chuck, who couldn't get on to make a call, does. You got to think of the neighbors in back of here. These are all single-family homes around. If you count both these properties, R8 and 7, there's, I think, a total of 8 that border all this that wants to be rezoned here. There's a total of, I think, 8 or 9 on the border of this homes. They plan on staying here. I mean, leave it the way it is. What's wrong with the way it is? We just can't, the wildlife, we just can't take anymore. I'm getting flooded out. I'm dead center, the lowest area, and everything's going to run to me. You guys don't even think of that. Everything runs to me. I'm going to be flooded out. The wildlife in the area. My neighbor's 72. He's retiring here. I'm older. Everything has to be looked at. You're just all of a sudden looking at all the other people for all these low-income jobs. This is going to be low-income housing. People can't afford. The stuff has went up. So prices have went up on apartments and stuff. So, I mean, you're just going to have to look at, we just can't tolerate that big, that's 3 times more than 119 to 369 dwellings for this. That's absolutely unfathomable. Unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable at 119. I don't know what you commissioners are looking at besides saying yes, 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 yes.
Thank you, Mr. Bayansky. Your time is up, sir. Thank you very much for attending. The next non-applicant person asked to speak is Todd Pressman.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Madam Chair,
I'm sorry,
I'll keep this very short.
Who's speaking?
A lot of points have been made, but it is very apparent that this is precisely what is needed, wanted, desired, planned, and visioned at many levels, from the state to the local levels. Checks off all the boxes. As your staff has indicated, it's a good transition to the other residential, and we hope to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker asked to sign up to speak is Elizabeth Belcher. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Belcher. I live off of Miller Road. I don't know if I'm being understood correctly, but when we had the meeting on Monday, my prime concern is I understand that there's growth, and I understand that we need residential big time. I'm not for commercial, but I'm also not for increasing the density on this project 3 times as much as it already has been changed in 2015. Between those 2 projects, B7 and B8, we're going to add 625 units. Multi-family has not been defined by the developer. It has not been defined by Hillsborough County Land Development Committee or whatever they're called. My question has been, what are you going to build? I understand it's residential. I'm for residential, but 3 times the density is huge. And our roads are not going to be developed in time to handle 625 dwellings times whatever they're driving. The 60 needs to be addressed before. And again, they say that they're going to start construction on the road, but it could be for 2 years. When is this project going to start? How is State Road 60 and Miller going to handle that when you can't come out? Well, you can come out, but it's very difficult to come out of Winn-Dixie. It's very difficult to come out of Public. It's very difficult to merge on State Road 60. State Road 60 is backed up on Saturday and Sunday. And then the commercial building that's 5 stories, it seems to be a prize with the development, but it sat vacant for many, many, many years. Vacant. And 4 stories are vacant. Or maybe 3, because I think the garage level is the first story, and then the second story is Kelly Williams. So that project, in our opinion as a community, is unsuccessful because it has been sitting vacant for many years. So there are the developer needs to define what multi-family is, because I am not for apartments. I'm for owners and not renters. That's what Barrico is about, and that's what we need to be consistent with, is people who own their single-family home. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Belcher. I appreciate your comments. I have Charles Both and Charles Both Jr. They had not checked in earlier, but have they checked in since then?
They have not checked in, no.
Okay, and then the last speaker that I have on the list is Jonathan Calandres.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Just barely. Can you speak up just a little bit?
How about now? Is that any better?
That seems to be better, sir. Please proceed.
Okay, so I just had some concerns, not the gentlelady that just spoke, but the gentlelady prior to that. Her presentation had multiple mistakes, including wrong cardinal directions, mislabeling. The wrong Barrico Forest is not the one picture is Bonterra. And these are small details, and a lot of big decisions are being made off of this documentation. And being that these are little details that they can't get correct, I'm wondering what other details in this document that are incorrect that we're basing off these large decisions off of. Also the mischaracterization of some of the surrounding areas in the documentation, page 11, under 1.7 staff analysis. It says that the properties in question is surrounded by quarter-acre lots, which is not true. If you look at figure 5, the property is surrounded by, mine being the smallest, or about the smallest, is about an acre and a quarter. And then some of the property is being, some of my neighbors are being flanked on multiple sides by this proposed massive community that they want to produce. Traffic is also, again, a major concern. Increasing the lanes in Highway 60 does not actually resolve the traffic issues. It actually might make it worse. The traffic is being directed to Miller Road and the communities down Miller Road. And Lumsden and Highway 60 are just absolutely slammed at the morning hours. Not even counting the dangers it proposes to the school children that will be making that sidewalk trip to school, especially battling traffic and neighbors trying to get onto Miller Road and 60 to commute to work and to come home from work. As mentioned, also, water quality is another concern that we have. That's one of the gems of Barrico is our pristine water, and these large, high-density communities with these vehicles, we're afraid that because we're all on well water, all these properties are all on wells, will significantly impact the quality, if not completely destroy the water table and force us to go through other means. And the way that which I'm sure it's only increased since then. We've gotten proposals for putting water to our mainline water, just absolutely astronomical to get water back to us. So we depend very much on the quality of these wells. So all these just compounding issues makes it just really hard for the community to sign off on. What was mentioned already earlier in the week, some of our community members are older or just not tech savvy, so they cannot contribute to these calls. We do the best to try to keep them informed. But, obviously they prefer in-person meetings. And I know the pandemic might keep that from happening, but we'd also like to see more outreach to the community. The properties also along the south, there's large buffers between them.
Mr.
And that kind of
Condos,
goes.
your time is up, sir, but thank you very much for your comments. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Are there any other public speakers that are interested in participating? I do not have anybody else on the list that is not an applicant. Hearing none.
No more, Madam Chair.
Okay, I can offer, the applicant has up to 3 minutes for rebuttal.
Yes, if I could first start with Steve Henry, our transportation engineer, to address the traffic issues and talk about the widening of the project and what that will do and the timing of that, I would appreciate it. Steve?
Thank you.
Yes, Steve Henry with Lincoln Associates. As indicated, the DOT is in the process. They've already let the project. They are starting construction. Again, it will actually see the bulldozers out there within the next 30 to 60 days to start the construction of that road. So this is not something that's going to happen in a few years. This is happening now, and DOT is going to be 6-laning the road. We've done the analysis to show that both with the 6-laning with existing traffic with this project, and then also for the long-range transportation plan, that with the 6-laning, both the Miller Road and State Road 60 will operate acceptable level of service.
Thank you, Steve. And just to address a couple other comments, I can address the comments that one of the gentlemen had about the staff report. I'll let Carla do that. But with respect to drainage, obviously our engineers will work on the site, and we have to comply with all the Hillsborough County regulations. And so we understand there's drainage issues out there, and obviously our site design cannot make those any worse. In fact, many times it makes them better, because you end up redirecting water flow and keeping and attenuating all of that stormwater runoff on site. With respect to wildlife, there is a very stringent state requirement for protected habitat, gopher tortoises. And so if there were gopher tortoises or any other protected wildlife there, we would have to go through a rigorous procedure to either relocate them or not develop until we did those things in accordance with the state regulations. So we, obviously no development would occur until that was the case. With respect to water quality, this development, you do have public water and sewer available. And so the existing wells and the water supplies would not be affected by this development, because this development would be on public water and sewer. And again, I just want to talk about timing more for the residents. If this is approved today, this comprehensive plan amendment, we can't go out there and build anything other than the PD that's already approved on the site. And just to clarify, I think someone said that it was changed in 2015. I think Todd Pressman actually came in for a flex. So the land use was not changed on the site and has not been changed on the site. But we still have to come back to you. And so there is a whole second rigorous procedure that you can go through and hold us to the commitments that we've made today. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, let's open it up to board discussion. Commissioner White, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, just like with B7, I don't dispute that this is generally the type of area that's ripe for infill development. And Ms. Belcher stole my thunder, because I had a note jotted down here to talk about that 5-story Keller Williams building that was referenced by Planning Commission staff, the applicant, and Ms. Belcher. And this building is a case in point as to why there's value in us just slowing down and taking our time, because obviously that's a fairly new building, okay? Obviously the marketplace thought that the corridor was ready for that building. Public policy makers, developers obviously thought that the corridor was ready for that building. Okay, that building was erected and sat vacant for years as a brand new building. They couldn't find tenants for it, and it became quite blighted. Kids were peeling out in the parking lot. You know, there were tire marks all over the place, busted out windows. I think there was even some spray paint tagging going on. Okay. They finally got Keller Williams to move into the building as a tenant. But based upon some signage that I see in the area, it looks as if Keller Williams may now be vacating the building. I could be wrong, but there seems to be an indication that the building is once again going to be vacant. And Lord knows how long it'll sit vacant and perhaps become blighted. Again, the applicant referenced that the Highway 60 project is imminent and shovel-ready. Again, if we just tap the brakes and take our time, by the time this gets back to us with an accompanying rezoning request, maybe there will be some work started on State Road 60, and that could be an indicator to us that FDOT really is moving forward, and that could be a game changer in terms of what's appropriate on this site. So just like with B7, you know, I'm not saying no this evening. I'm not prepared to say no, but I'm not quite ready to say yes, though, this evening. I think there's value in taking our time. So for that reason, because this fits like a hand in a glove with B7, I think it makes sense to just do the same thing, and I'll move to continue this to a future meeting with all of the same comments attached that I attached to B7 when I made that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner White, a second by Commissioner Smith. Commissioner Smith, you're recognized, and then Commissioner Cohen, I see that you've got your hand raised. You'll be after Commissioner Smith.
Thanks, and I think we had a good discussion on the last one that applies here. I will just observe that, you know, on the comp plan right now, one of the speakers said, leave it like it is. On the comp plan right now, you've got that big swath of the red 20 commercial, and then you have this big swath of Res 9, and it transitions to Res 4. And you can see in the Res 9, plenty has been happening all on 60 as residential and business as well, and behind that in the Res 4 as well. So the question here is not, do we want infill or do we want nothing? Do we want infill or do we not want infill? Of course we want infill. Infill can happen in Res 9. Infill can happen, and infill has happened there along that area in Res 9. Infill can happen in Res 20. But I think you make a really good point with that one, probably the largest, tallest building this side of 301, waiting a long time. Sometimes things can move too fast. So I think we are wise to hold up on this big jump in this area, even though it seems like that's where it may go someday, and make sure that it's going to be done right. So I'm happy to second the motion.
Commissioner Cohen, you're recognized.
So I guess what I'm wondering is what makes it such a problem to tie this to the rezoning so that with something, I mean, I think there's no question that the applicant on this one and on the last one made a very compelling case for why we need infill development, and it's desirable in this type of an area, and Commissioner Overman spoke to the need of housing. But what makes it such a problem to tie the rezoning to the comprehensive plan, to the future land use map amendment? Why is that? Why is it's not going to? It can't go any faster.
Right.
Anyway, because it's still got to go through the zoning process. So why is it problematic to put the two together. I that's the thing I'm not sure I follow.
Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
Well, no, that was a question for the
applicant or for the staff?
Or for the staff. I mean, let me start with the staff then on that.
Okay. Mr. Gormley?
Yes, Carly Ellis for the record. I think maybe David Hay might be able to answer this a little bit further, or maybe even Melissa Leinhart. I do know from past experience in multiple jurisdictions, many people do not like this concept because it kind of promotes the idea of contract zoning. And it's something that the courts don't typically like. They look upon that unfavorably. But I'll let David Hay speak to this.
Commissioner, before Mr. Hay speaks, I wouldn't characterize pairing a rezoning with a comprehensive plan amendment as contract zoning at all. We have done that before. We do have the ability to do that. I think what the applicant put on the record is that they were concerned about committing resources to the rezoning application at this time. But from a procedural standpoint, we have done that before, and we are able to do that in the future as it suits the board's needs and preferences.
Thank you, Mr. Gormley. Mr. Hay, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I would just agree with Mr. Gormley's statement. We cannot condition a plan amendment, but you can easily tie together a plan amendment with a concurrent rezoning at the same time.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Cohen, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
Thank you. There has been compelling information presented by the applicant, very strong. We've heard a lot, and from particularly Commissioner White, who has personal knowledge of the area and of the history and the development there. And I think, and I just want to acknowledge to Ms. Batzel, thank you. I heard the correction of my misperception about that, so that was good to hear. And I think there was a lot of information that was put there that was very compelling. But I think the point too and that's the point I've always had. If you start with Res 9, you're still doing significantly more density than you have now and infill. And I guess where I land again, and I went back and forth some, but I land again, and to Commissioner Cohen's point, this couldn't be done anyway until the rezoning is done. We can't have a building, and that's going to take some time to do. I think I might have been here for the first time we matched a rezoning with a comp plan amendment. When I first came to the board in 2017, December 2016, 2017, I think it was Commissioner White's original idea, if I remember correctly, for a nursing home facility on Lithia Pinecrest. And I think there was a lot of angst about how that would travel well and, could we do that? But it seems in every case to have kind of, I feel, helped the conversation, and you can just have more assurances about where it will go. I keep wondering if there's some place that we can land a little in between the current Res 9 and the 20, that maybe that will be something that we can come to. I think there is support on this board and has been for infill and redevelopment, and that is spot on statement. And yes, we have dwelled on that extensively. And I think, well, obviously there's nothing, we already has the Res 9 designation, but I think there's a lot of support for doing some type of what is being proposed. But I think there is, as has been stated, and slowing it down just a bit and making sure that we have a project that's strong, appropriate, and well-timed for the area. It would seem a valuable place to land.
Okay, I see Commissioner Cohen, your hand is raised. Do you want to follow up? Oh, okay, that disappeared quick.
I'm sorry, I hadn't taken it down.
That's quite all right. It happens to all of us. Okay, seeing no other further comment, I am curious about how we move forward with this kinds of opportunities, but also the challenges. And I'm sure if this were to get continued like the other item, there'll be lots of conversation with the owners and the community, so that some of the opportunity that it appears as though would be conducive for addressing our growth needs could move forward. So with that, we have a motion by Commissioner White, second by Commissioner Smith, to continue this text amendment to a future date. Is that your motion? Okay. A map amendment, I'm sorry.
And to pair it with the companion rezoning.
Correct.
Yes, thank you.
Correct. Do you may take a roll call vote?
Chair Overman?
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you vote.
No.
Thank you. Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan? Commissioner Hagan?
No.
Kim?
Yes.
No.
He said,
Was that
Commissioner Hagan did say.
No?
Commissioner Hagan said no.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kemp says yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Myers?
No.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 4-3. Commissioners Overman, Hagan, and Myers voted no.
All right. Well, that was, if I'm not mistaken, our last item for this evening. We do need to consider the ordinances to the plan amendment adoptions. Would you like to go through that process for us, Ms. Lundgren, and maybe assist us with the proper wording to get it transmitted in the proper manner?
Yes. Thank you. Excuse me, Commissioners. There are two separate ordinances needed for the adoption of the approved amendments, because we're dealing with two different types of amendments, large scale and small scale, and so they follow different statutory processes. But I'll just lay out that the first ordinance would be the adoption of the text amendments and large-scale future land use map amendment, CPA 2110, CPA 2111, CPA 2112, and CPA 2106, all of which were approved for adoption.
So I'll entertain a motion to include each of the large-scale
So
future map
moved.
amendments. Okay.
Second.
So, motion by Commissioner Kemp, second by Commissioner Myers. Not seeing any other comments. You do a roll call vote, please.
Chair Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Excellent. And then the small scale,
The second ordinance will be for the adoption of small-scale future land use element map amendment, CPA 2125, which was approved.
right, so that was the only one that we actually did approve of those other small scale futures.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner White, second by Commissioner Kemp. Seeing no other comments, please take a roll call.
Chair Overman?
Yes.
Cohen?
Yes.
Hagan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you all. Thank you all. It is late and we are done. I'll call this meeting to an end and we adjourn.